Monkey.
I think we are live.
Hello,
Somebody
people.
click the link and check. Thank you. Actually, I can click it and then mute it. Oh yeah, I heard monkey. Okay.
Monkey?
Hello, Vex, Pink Floofles, and Clay. And Poisonous Wasp. Alright, we are here for power rankings. Yippee. First up, we are going to do Terra Cave, which was supposed to be... Let me just check the volumes, make sure. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Yes, it's supposed to be me Incredibles, but unfortunately, Incrediunk got sick.
True. So now I'm here. Yeah, I looked at each team for like 3 minutes and gave you a quick rating, but Nami will probably talk about most of the stuff.
Yeah, are you able to stream your screen on the Discord as well?
Yeah.
So that way we can be on the same
There we go.
screen.
Bro, why are there so many pregnants in chat? Okay.
Is that Rhino Shark? Is that you?
Pink Floofles. Alright, we are starting. Here we go. I gotta click this a bunch of times. There we go. Alright.
Oh, it's no longer purely Nami. I guess it still is purely Nami vibes on the ordering.
Yes.
But yes, we're ranking just the teams. I'm not judging your skill, so you could be the best player ever with what I think is a garbage team, or like a not a great player with the best team. It does it's just the teams we're looking at.
Yep.
And this is also my opinion.
Traitor!
Yeah.
This
So
guy.
16th we have, as promised, Incredibles for his ultimate betrayal of lying to everyone about convincing everyone that, hey, we should do this Iron Valiant meme, and that he takes it, betraying everyone's trust. But if we're going to talk about this team for real, type chart, there's nothing wrong at all. Like, it's very good. I couldn't see a single defensive exploit or couldn't think of anything that this team couldn't break or any type that this team is missing.
Yeah, this
So
team's
that's,
OP.
And the win cons, there's a lot of win cons. You have defensive shaman win con, you have swords dance mega scissor win con, you have every single Iron Valiant win con, you have Dragapult Dragon Dance as a potential thing to keep in check. And the team can also break really well because of Nido Queen, and because any of Pult, Val, or Scizor could also break if you want them to.
Yeah, a lot of these Pokemon can like flex to be offensive or defensive too, so it's kind of hard to prep for.
Yeah. And the defenses are really annoying as well, because Mega Scissor, Shaman, Electros, Colossal, and even Nidoqueen can be all solid defensive pieces that. This team is super flexible, super strong, and can do whatever Incredibles wants it to do.
I wonder why.
Almost like we have Pult Valiant on our team.
Yep. Alright.
So yeah, it's super broken.
Did you know? Yes.
How could you?
It's just. I didn't warn the people.
Can't believe this.
Yes.
Okay, on to actual 15th.
Yes. We have Rad and the Sleepy Slugs. Oh, but what was your ranking for Incredibles team out of 10?
Oh, I gave it a 10.
Okay, yeah. I didn't actually notice that.
Yeah, that was kind of good.
Yeah, it's kind of good. So yeah, Incredibles also added yesterday he sent me these scores. I'm not sure how to interpret them, but he said he had a culture yes or no if he thinks the team's cultural, and he was giving points from 1 to 4, 0 to 4. I don't really understand it. I just put it in. I wish Incredibles was here to explain his system more, because I don't really understand it too well.
I am here, guys.
But-
Don't worry.
But apparently Incredibles doesn't think this team is cultural, and he gave it a 1 out of 4 for the culture.
I can
But
see.
onto the actual team. I feel like this team on paper could be good, but I feel like we fumbled a few pieces like halfway through the draft. Like, I'm a big fan of the Meow, Bundle, and Skarm. I think those are really good mons. They work well together. But I feel like a lot of the mons after don't contribute a lot. Like the Sandy Shocks and Altaria, I don't really understand what they're here, because Sandy Shocks is kind of like hazards, but Skarm already does that, and Altaria is just like here.
Yeah. Yeah, Mega Altaria with Mega Slowbro is a little weird. Also, don't really have a Dark Resist except Altaria. And yeah, Sandy Shock is a little bit redundant. And doesn't have very good removal on this team at all.
The removal is a Skarmory, but Skarmory doesn't usually want to be running Defog.
Yeah.
But the Terror Captains are really good. I really like Rhyperior and Farigiraf.
Yeah, I guess
So I feel like
options.
I feel like if we kept the top 4 and the bottom 2 and just changed the middle 3, I feel like this team could be really, really good.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's overall not too bad of a team. I have like your offense is pretty decent. It just like you just need better support pieces. I feel like.
Yeah.
If you got better support pieces, this team would be really, really good. That's about all I have to say about this team. Like.
Next.
Yeah. Now, do you want to explain the picture on the right?
Okay. I'm sorry, Pika Clicks, but I don't think dropping the Gliscor and the Metagross for Crawdaunt and an Earthworm and a Palossand and a Blastoise was quite worth it.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Gliscor is super, super good. And it gave the team like good hazard support, and also was our team's ground type. So we replaced our team's ground type with a Palossand, and we replaced our team's hazard support with an Earthworm. And we replaced Metagross for Crawdon and Blastoise, kind of. But I do like Blastoise as a good addition to the team. And Crawdon I personally quite like, but it's not that good. But it's very cool. I can't defend Earthworm or Palossand.
Yeah, we also lost another ground immunity. I mean, we got Earthworm, but Earthworm sucks, so it's a bit tough.
One of my big issues with the team is that a lot of the top end threats, Sneasler, Rillaboom, and Raging Bolt, are super matchup fishy. So you're going to be stuck bringing your Crawdon, Earthworm, Palossand to a lot of weeks because your top tiers aren't going to be that useful. Because I find if this team queues into Corviknight or Skarmory or Celesteela, like Rillaboom and Sneasler are going to have a lot of trouble. Raging Bolt, I find is very matchup dependent as well from experience using it, because it has no coverage. And I do like the Terra Captains though. I think Terra Entei is one of the best mons on the board. It's very annoying with extreme speed and Sacred Fire. And Florges is pretty good too. I've grown to really respect Florges from using it in low tier. And I guess we have okay knockoff support for the Mega Kang as well. That's okay.
Yeah, I
in terms
agree.
of types, very, 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 very weak, I feel. My notes.
It's absurdly fair weak, because Entei's going to probably tear out of it a lot of the time, and then once again we have an Earthworm. When we had a Metagross.
And Rillaboom's not a mon that comes to every matchup, so if we don't bring Rillaboom, we're once again going to Earthworm as our only ground resist or immunity.
Yeah, Gliscor was kind of good. And
I think Gliscor is. I read the meme of like, you know, the two buttons like upgrade, and then after pushing it, you push the go back button. I feel like we need to go back, but we can't go back because you already dropped them on. So.
Yeah.
Good things about this team though. The priority is amazing. Like, it's insane how much priority this team has. And the speed tiers are really good. Like this team will outspeed you. Like, you can't do anything about it. They're either going to out priority you or outspeed you with Sneasler or Darkrai. So.
True.
But that's about all I have to say about this team.
I'm just here, guys. I didn't really look at these teams, so I'm not going to be saying too much. I will speak more for Skypillar, but I'm here.
Okay, we have the Azalea Scooping Squad.
The Azalea
This team
Scooping
feels
Squad.
Azalea, yes, the Azalea scooping, Alakazam scooping squad. I can read, guys. Trust. I totally passed university. But this is like a Gen 7 team, but we put a Tinglu on it,
Real.
basically. I have some issues with the team. The biggest one I would say is probably the speed. Like, I don't like the 130 to 95 gap. That's kind of bad.
Yeah, that's rough.
And also, I feel like we want an Iron Leaves on this team. I feel like that would really help
Hell
as
yeah.
Terra Captain.
Our Terra Captains
Like
are
instead of
kinda
Persimmon,
rough.
like if we could somehow get some upgrades on that.
Mhm.
We do have at least decent removal with Serena and like Tapu Koko and Dragonite, so that won't be an issue. But this team also gets absolutely obliterated by fairies, I feel like, because if Heatran's like the only thing holding the line, and like so much of our team is weak to fairy, so
Yep.
I feel like all and a lot of fairy moves can just pack a ground move, and then your Heatran just dies. So that's not ideal.
Yeah, Heatran goes down on the defensive core of this team. Is gone completely.
This team also doesn't. This team, if you keep the fairy check, like you keep the fairies in check, at least has a decent defensive core, with like Coco, Heatran, Prim, like Serena, Dragonite. Not the most offensive team outside of like Hero and Black and kind of Primarina. I feel like most of this team is pretty like defensive, pivoty, set up hazards is kind of the idea, which I can see the vision, but I feel like we could use some improvements to make it better.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, that's about all I have to say about this team. So we have Spicequake's team, which just doesn't pass the vibe check for me. Like it doesn't, like there's nothing blatantly wrong with it except for the fact it's super slow, which I guess is a big weakness, but you do have good priority to try to compensate it. But when I just look at this team, I just don't feel that scared. So you sometimes you get those vibes that like something's missing. And I feel like there's something missing with this team.
Mantine having Terra.
True. Like I feel like Chomp for this kind of team structure wants to be like Hazards, but you don't often want to always be Hazard Chomp. And I don't know, just something missing. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like we don't have that good knockoff or pivoting. Could use some. Actually, no, we have enough pivoting. I still haven't figured out what I feel like is missing, but something's wrong.
I feel that. I don't think
Just
it's
looking
too
through my
bad.
notes.
I just think
It's not bad.
the speed is a big issue. And then not supporting Garchomp or another good hazard setter is annoying, like you said.
Yeah.
Garchomp really enjoys being a setup variant a lot of the time.
Mhm.
And then you don't have the hazard chip unless you are rocks on King Gambit.
Yeah, which you can be, but you don't want to do that every week.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, priority on this team's quite good.
Yeah, so we can compensate, but it just didn't pass the vibe check, unfortunately.
Unlucky.
Unlucky. But I will say Rotom Wash is good, so don't listen to Taco. You need Rotom Wash on this team.
True.
Alright, so next we have Mutin. I feel like the top 6 on this team is really good. I like the regen core, like super bulky regen. We have good removal from Extra Drill. We have hazards from Glamora. Like that's really good. I feel like we dropped the ball on the second half of the team from Noivern down. Like I don't know what Noivern's ever doing that Tornadus can't do, because they'll often both fast pivots that can like throw out hurricanes, U-turn out, defog. Like I don't know why you ever bring Noivern when you have a Tornadus Therian, and I don't know why you need 2 Tornadus Therians in a matchup. And we have a Comfey, which I feel like I really strongly suggest moving Terra to Comfey from Darmanitan, because Darmanitan doesn't need Terra to do its job as a breaker, while Comfey absolutely needs Terra to be like, if you want to use it as like not a support Comfey. Like you can use regular Comfey, but you can't do the setup sweeping sets without Terra. So it just puts more pressure on the opponent. I feel like that's a big flaw with the team.
Yeah, I agree. I think you just swap Terra to Comfey, drop Noivern, pick up something else, and you have a really, really good team.
Yeah, like 'cause the top 6 is really, really good. Like it's very well constructed. You have good knock support as well for the Glamora, and you have like everything you need except for the bottom 4.
Yeah.
Preferably, if that new mon picked up resist ghost, would be cool.
Yeah, getting an actual dark type on this team would be nice.
Yeah. Because right now, if you queue into Incredibles with this team, you're gonna get cooked by Dragapult hard,
Yeah,
and there's not much counterplay because Morgrim is not doing anything.
true.
Yeah, that's about it for my thoughts on Mutants team.
Next, boom.
This is another team that doesn't quite pass the vibe check. Like it's to me, it's supposed to be like a bulky offensive team, which the top mons do it. I just feel like we're missing elements to make it better. The major one is either some other form of offense outside of Mecha Alakazam, Zygarde, or some better hazard pressure for this team structure. Because right now our only hazards are off Knuckle Stack, and we're probably bringing Delmise to a lot of matchups with this team because Delmise is our best removal for the bulky offense. So, yeah. We also don't have the most pivots on this team, but it's not a big deal because that's not the way the team is meant to be structured. It's like I said, bulky offense. Like just stay alive and wear the opponent down slowly, and then you win.
Yeah, I would say that the bad hazards are a big flaw with this team. When you have a bulky team like this with pivoting, you would really appreciate having hazards so that your opponent's taking chip when you're moving or like pivoting around as well.
To improve it, I feel. What would you actually suggest to improve this?
I would get some form of hazard setting and speed.
Oh yeah, because the speed gap between Alakazam and Zygarde. that's pretty big as well.
I don't think Togekiss is that necessary. You already have a dark resist, a really good dark resist in Muck, and you have Rotom Heat and Delmise for a ground resist. So I feel like you could drop that and get the rolls that you need. Because Togekiss is a big point sink.
Yeah. We could probably drop Beware alongside that, I feel like, as well. I don't know how much that contributes to the team.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that would help quite a bit. Either get some speed or hazards or both. Get like an Ogerpon or something. Ogerpons are good at spike stacking and there's fast.
I don't know how many Ogerpons there are left.
Yeah, I'm just spitballing. I don't know what's actually on this board.
Yeah.
I think
I can't remember either.
Not a bad place to start.
Yeah, no, that would be a good addition to this team. I would agree.
All right.
On to next. We have Trico. No real obvious weakness. You could argue the team is Ghost weak, but I believe in Skuntank so much I don't think this team is Ghost weak, because Skuntank will hold the line.
There are a lot of Ghost weak Pokemon.
But Skuntank will pursuit trap them and kill them, so no need to worry. Don't you worry, my child. Skuntank will keep us safe.
We'll see about that.
We will. A point that I remember you brought up was the speed potentially being an issue. I don't think it's too bad.
I don't think Meowstic's a real Pokemon, and Talonflame, it's alright. So we're kind of going 122 to 101 without like a 110. It's really kind of a nitpick. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
I do like this team.
Yeah, there's not structurally. There's nothing missing. Like we have everything we need. Like we have physical and special offense. We have hazards. We have hazard control. We have decent enough pivoting. Then we have good knockers because Skuntank knows knockoff, and Skuntank's amazing. This should come every single week.
So true. Oh yeah, I thought this team was kind of ground weak because your 2 ground switch-ins get nuked by Stone Edge. But Nami did point out Jellicent can take typical physical ground hits like that pretty well, so it's probably not that big of an issue.
Because the major mons, it would be like Landorus would be the main mon that you'd be worried about, but I think Jellicent can take it off.
Yeah. Or a Great Tusk, which you have.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the Great Tusk. Unless, of course, you drop it. pretty cultural.
True, so true. Drop the Great Tusk.
Like if I drop Great Tusk, Incredibles would drop Iron Valiant.
Hmm.
And then you trade.
So true.
But yeah, nothing really wrong with this team. There's just 8 other teams I thought were better.
True.
Next, we have the first girlfriend team from Pink Blue Falls. I think this team is pretty good. It's not my favorite, but there definitely are. I like the top 4 quite a lot. Like, I feel like those are very solid mons. Where I start to, I know Zatu's just there for catches. Zatu is awful, terrible. I'd never use that mon. It's so bad, bro. Every time I've used it, I use it as a sack piece.
Yeah, I mean, Zatu's not usable. This team needs a
But
better
it's-
rocker, in my opinion.
Yeah, the hazards aren't amazing on this team. And I really wish we had a better Terra Captain from Pheasantipity, because you don't need Terra on Pheasantipity. Like, the only reason you're tearing it if you're trying to do like some kind of Swords Dance, like Swords Dance set or something like that, but I really don't think the mon needs it. It's pretty solid without it. So you can have a more threatening, either better bulky mon, like a Celebi or something, or more like offensive mint on like Slitherwing. I know probably those mons aren't available, but something like that. Lethal
Looks pretty
removal is
to me.
good.
Not much wrong with this.
There really is not a ton to say bad about it, outside what I just outlined. This team could be considered Ice Weak because our Ice switches are GU and Quack, which don't really want to be switching into Ice moves too much, but you can get away with running bulky Quack sometimes. Like if you're queued into like a Weavile or something.
Yeah, I think a better Terra Captain Fez, but also you just don't necessarily need something because you have Jolteon, and a better rocker would be nice.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate our ground type doesn't have rocks, but Ursaluna is
But-
solid.
I don't mind Ursaluna in this team. It gives you some nice physical offense to go with this GU and Mega Lati for the special offense and Jolteon. Like offensively, this team is solid.
Yeah, we can pivot it in pretty easily with Corv and Fez too.
Yeah. So solid team. Next we have Excavaliers team, Cleveland Cavaliers. I forgot that this team was Super Ground Week. That you pointed that out. I literally have it written down in my notes. Then I forgot.
Yeah, it's very
So,
ground weak.
we did some retiering. Because I don't believe in Ogerpon. I think that mon is super fake. It's good for spiking and you trading out, because having just mono Ivy Cudgel does not usually cut it in most matchups.
It's like good against very certain things as like a bulky synth U-turner guy, but like
Yeah.
very certain things. Like without another good ground resist is a bit tough because Kilowattrel's not cutting it without Terra.
It's not a bad bond without Terror, but it definitely would appreciate it. But I like this team's Terror Captains already, so I can see why. Terror Arcanine is, I feel like, definitely underpriced on this board. And Terror Gigalith I think is just cool. I'm excited to see someone finally draft it. It's been on the board for so long, and I think it's never been drafted by anyone.
Yeah, I
Our
don't
league
think so.
anyways. I also do like how many slow pivots we have with Slowking and Clefable and Arcanine to help get Gran and Kyurem in position. Like, I feel like this team does a good job supporting Mega Greninja. Like we have the hazards and the removal and everything. So I feel like it's a very good Mega Greninja team. We just have like some defensive flaws potentially.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, I was just about to say what Excavalier said. Chat having something else for knockoff would be good because that's probably why you picked up Ogerpon, I would guess. Also for the ground resist, but that could be nice.
Yeah.
Pretty good team though.
But I still think it's a good team.
Yep.
Next we have the Chiyu Cooks, who definitely cooked. I really like it when people draft like these 10 mon teams that are actually like 10 real mons that I would consider bringing. Because quite often people make teams of like 11 mons. I'm like, wow, you have 5 guys and the rest of your mons I'd never ever bring. But I feel like every mod on this team is actually bringable except Jameco, but Jameco's just there for culture. Yeah, no, because we have so many variable mods, there's no like real obvious type exploit that we can use, and so many mods we have every important type, so that's pretty good. We have a lot of good offense and defense. I feel like on this team. One nitpick that you pointed out is that we kind of lacking special attackers though, because we kind of only have Gengar, Electrocity, and like Vaporeon with specs.
Yeah, it's a lot of heavy physical offense.
Mhm.
It's hard to bring stuff like Conk when they're already going to be like max HP, max Phys Def on like a lot of guys.
Yeah, you could run the Forbidden Special Charizard.
So true.
I know Incredibles likes bringing that set sometimes.
It does have good special attack, so
Yeah.
It doesn't have tough claws boosts, but
It tries. I also really
Vaporeon's
like this
definitely
team.
holding down like defensive profiles for a lot of types. Like that's gonna come like every week. It's like your main ice resist and fire resist and water resist. There's like nothing else that wants to switch into those moves. So that thing's gonna be coming to a lot of games.
Vaporeon's good. I know you don't like it, but I think it's good.
Yeah, it's a guy.
You gotta just run its specs. You just gotta run its specs.
And you're not switching into the move.
But then you nuke them, and then they die.
True.
But also Giga Base. I love Conkeldurr. I love Bisharp. I love Weezing Galar. Electrocity is cool. Gengar is cool. Like normally I'm nitpicking people's bottom halves, but I really like the bottom half of your team.
Yeah.
Iron Treads, Mandibuzz are cool too. I'm not the biggest Charizard X fan, but I know it has its matchups where it's good. So
Yeah, I quite like this team. I would also say maybe you're missing like a top Mon. Like
yeah, I have
this
that
team doesn't
also.
have a top Mon.
But there's no top mon because the way the team is built, it's like 10 good
Yeah.
mons. It's
I mean,
the
I give this
structure
team
of
a
the
high rating. I think it's quite good.
Yeah, it's very good. The Chi-Yu is cooked.
True. All right.
Next we have Vex's team. I quite like this team structure. Because it's like a could be rain team, but doesn't have to be rain team. And I feel like the team is good if you bring rain or if you don't bring rain. And Celesteela, Landorus, Therian, and Mew are just so broken.
Real.
And Mega Floette, like they're all just super good mons that just like win games.
Yeah, having a really good ground and fighting for breaking through the steals that is the only thing stopping Floette is quite nice.
My only
Speed is an
kind of
issue.
nitpick is that we don't have that great removal. We do have 3D Foggers, Mew, Lando, and Grandpa, but I feel like it would be nice if we had a spinner, but not necessary.
Yeah, I agree. If we're not bringing Electro to the games, our highest speed Mon is a Floette as well.
Or a Shrimp Overquill if we're bringing.
Yeah, if we got the rain.
But if we don't have the rain and we're not bringing Electrode, then we're kind of slow.
Which
but it's
I
not.
would say is like half your weeks.
But we can just rely on our mons being broken to win the game.
Yeah, the team's good. Everything else is structured quite well. Celesteela being your only fair resist is fine because it's like one of the best ones there is.
Yes, the Celesteela is super broken, so it's coming every week anyways.
Yeah, this looks like a fun team.
Mhm.
It got a 2 out of 4 in culture. Let's go.
According to Incredibles, yeah, yeah. We need Incredibles here to explain his ratings. I don't get it.
It's just
He-
gibberish. Sorry.
he did write notes about why the score goes up and down, but I didn't read them all. So
This is an Unk moment.
yes, unfortunately, Unk is stuck in bed. Sick.
Alright.
How dare Unk be sick?
I know, right?
Next we have Swords team, which is pretty good as well. The big issue I have with this team is that there's no ground type, so we do get Volt turned on a lot. But countering that, of course, we have Mega Chestnut and Belly Bolt, which can take the Volt switches, but still, I would like if we had a nice ground type. That's my biggest nitpick with this team, I'd say.
Yeah. No ground type's been tough.
We do have a lot of We do have good removal though, at least with Tentacle and a lot of spikes. A lot of mons like to set spikes, so you can hazard stack and like pivot around. We have lots of good knock, which I really like. What to help support the spikes, like everything on our team learns knock off.
Cool.
Yeah, team doesn't have any trouble breaking either because we have a Kartana and a Zard. And we have good defensive pieces, thanks to Cheston and Bellybolt. Like, overall, this team is pretty good. I feel like something's missing. I just have trouble figuring out what it is. Outside of a ground type. Like, the team doesn't quite pass the eye test still. But I can't find things blatantly wrong to say why.
I feel like our best special attacker being Mega Charizard and almost only our special attacker is probably something that's wrong.
But we can just be Choice Specs, Terra Electric, Bellybolt.
Yeah. So true.
Electromorphous. If the opponent, if you play a copy of your own team, that set would actually be really, really good. Because then you can Volt Switch for free. So I guess that's something.
Alright, on
Yeah,
to the
no,
top 3.
Good team. Let's see who made the top 3. I guess you guys would know, but who's top 3, who's top 2, who's number 1? But third, yeah, Bread's team. I really like Bread's team because Terra Gastrodon is the GOAT. It's you cannot lose a game if you bring Terra Gastrodon. Like, it's unkillable and it's super awesome, and you like life orb recover, so you just nuke the opposing team. So you never die and you do tons of damage. They can't set up on you because your life they didn't prep for the life orb damage on their substitute, so you just break their sub.
Real.
And then you win. It's that easy. But in more serious note, the only thing that I feel like this team would probably want to Grande Poison, because yes, we have a Trapagos to spin, but I still feel like a lot of our mons don't want to get poisoned. Like Slitherwing, Gastrodon, Mega Frostlass is looking really, and even Screamtail, they all don't always want to run boots, and yeah, them getting poisoned on switching is just bad.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have much wrong with this team. I think it's good. Maybe
Yeah.
a different remover or another remover and then a grounded poison.
Yeah. Smell Metal is super cool as well.
I feel like the
And we have-
quality of speed on this team isn't that great, but I recognize that it has a trick room mode, so it's
Yeah.
probably manageable.
Cobalion is not the worst Pokemon ever. It's not
Yeah, it's all
great, but it does what it needs to do. And Screamtail's not bad.
Not
Oh
bad.
yeah, not much else to say about this team really. It's just like I love Terra Gastrodon and I get really excited when I see it. So
Yeah, for anybody talking about like changes to their team, the PRs are done before changes, I believe. So
they're done after changes. I live updated.
Sword saying
So,
yes,
and-
changes.
Yeah, that's why like up to like an hour before. So unless you made a transaction like the last hour, your change should be in. And if it's not, it's because I missed it. So
Okay. Well, Sky Pillar is your original team, so if you made changes,
unlucky. Am I the only base mod who actually updated the PRs in real time? Not because I was lazy and just didn't do them till yesterday, so I was able to do that.
Lazy.
But anyways, Z-Berry, I think you have an amazing girlfriend because she gave you good Pokemon.
For real.
Like this, is your girlfriend like a top 100 Pokemon draft player or something? Because this seems really good. Like, it's a very good Mega Lopunny team. We have good defensive pivots. We have good knock support. We have decent hazards. I wish we had Spiker that wasn't Sandslash-Alola. It's about the only thing I don't like about this team. Like yeah, we just keep getting Lopunny in and we keep killing things because Lopunny is really, really broken.
True.
And we have one of the best Terra Captains also on the board. Terra Haxorus is insane. And we have good defensive pieces with Petrun and Moltres and Empoleon. And Whimsicott can be annoying in certain matchups with the opponent as well. Plus, on top of that, we have webs, so that makes Terra Haxorus even more threatening. So, yeah, overall, just a really well constructed team that I think is really, really scary. And I'm happy I do not have to play this team.
Yeah, this team's OP. I mean, anything with Mega Lopunny is OP, but you support it quite
Mega
well.
Lopunny, but it's a well built team around Mega Lopunny.
Exactly. We got good
So-
knockoff guys as well.
Mhm.
Good pivots into the things it doesn't want to take, like Pecharunt for bulky fairies or whatnot.
And the opponent, and you never have to worry about the Pecharunt team when you have Mega Lopunny with this on this
Yep.
board, because
One of the most annoying answers to Lopunny.
that you
And
have on your
you have
team.
it.
So that's great.
All right.
Mhm.
First overall.
We have O2, that one guy. I really like your team as well. Just very similar to like Excavalier, where they did a really good job building around Mega Greninja. I feel like this team's a really well built team around Mega Delphox. Like we have Zapdos and Wellspring to help support kill the waters mons that will wall Mega Delphox. We have like pivots from Milotic and Zapdos to get it in. We have good hazards from Ogerpon and Tinkaton. We have removal from Donphan. And I really do like the Terra Captains. Milotic arguably could be something better, but I'm a strong believer in it. I think it's quite good. It's just a really bulky recover guy, or if you want to be silly, you can run Coil or Dragon Dance, which I hope you run it at least once this season. I would love to see you run Coil or Dragon Dance Milotic. I think
Base
that's
60
really fun.
attack, let's go.
Hey, if you don't die, it doesn't matter. You coil, you
That's
throw
true.
coils up and just becomes unkillable. Like, what are you gonna do?
Encore it.
Mental Herb and then kills you with Terra Water Hydro Pump.
I'm Sash.
You have spikes up.
I am Water Absorb.
You have Vaporeon.
Yep.
We toxic you.
And I'm Lum.
We toxic you again.
And I subbed on the Toxic.
No.
Unlucky.
This is a very serious line that's definitely gonna happen. If you play Casualty, you better have that line happen.
I must see it.
And just at the very end, just in case we need something else, we have a Ditto, which probably never comes, but if it does come, the opponent probably didn't prep for it, so it can be really annoying if you don't prep for the Ditto.
Yeah. Very
Because
good team.
your sweep could just be like, no, you.
Yeah, I really like this team. Everything about it, basically. Yeah, maybe the Terra Captain's not my favorite, but I don't really have anything to say bad about this team. All right.
Good team.
Boom. Final tier list.
Yes.
Sorry, Incredible.
Incredibles, yeah.
Deserve.
Awful team. Awful team. What are you doing, bro? Pulp Val, so bad.
Idiot.
Uh-huh.
And
some
fun
fun
stats.
Yes. So, yeah. I like Casualty's team because Terra Bishop is cool. Who put
And-
most cultural unk?
Wasn't me.
Why'd
yep.
you put that? Oh, yeah. It's very obvious, right? Because I'm asking, like, who put that in, and you're like, yep, who knows?
It was incredible. Yep.
Yep, he's definitely not sick in bed this whole time.
All right.
Hey, we got through Terror Cave pretty quickly, probably because
Because
Incredible wasn't here.
Yeah, one person. I was here, guys. I swear.
you were here and you said stuff. You did your part as a pinch.
Yep.
And I've been here the whole time.
Zodiac.
Oh, where was Mr. Exolus screaming monkey every 10 minutes like he promised?
He was playing his match.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was updating the doc about his match.
All right, guys. Sky Pillar. All right, I'm gonna say Zodiac. Can you ping Sky Pillar? I'm gonna go get water, and we will start in a minute.
Cool. I'll do that.
monkey.
Ah, there's the monkey. Do I have enough to... Oh, who is paying me? Nope.
I'm currently trying to find where the pasta is in my house. Trying to
Where
find.
the... Oh,
Yes. Because you gotta fill the dead air time with something. Doing some fitting stuff. Trying to. We have shells. I don't know if I want to go with shells. If we have any other shape.
yeah. I don't think I have enough time to update another game between this water break. So,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Pickley versus Starman. Your match update will have to wait.
All
We
right.
I
have,
know
like-
you're desperately waiting for that.
We have eating hodali shape. I don't know what that means, but it looks not shells, so that seems cool. Big Neji's
Alrighty,
back.
I am here. Hi guys. We are doing Sky Pillar. Woo! Very exciting stuff. I'm here with Lil Zod.
I am here. Yes.
All right. We'll start her off by saying these are for fun and not that serious. It is just me and Zodiac's opinion. It has nothing to do with the skill of the player, so don't take it too personally. Somebody's got to be last. Unlucky. Yep.
Yep. And speaking of who's going to be last, we have Lawyer Turtle. So yeah, your team is a team of all time. Like, if this wasn't Sky Pillar, you would not be last. But unfortunately, you're stuck with us and our knowledge of how to draft half-decent teams. But like, starting off with some of the... let's start at the cons. Littleroot is your only Dark and Ghost resist, if we're not counting Terra. And that's not great, especially Dark, since there are a lot of like high-end, powerful Dark type attackers in this format. Ghost is a little bit more manageable, since Spectre's banned, so you have to worry about Polt, Annihilate, which destroys most Dark types, and then like Petrant and Gengar, Hisuian, and Zoroark. I'll stop listing off all the Ghost types, but yeah, that's like probably the biggest defensive problem, as well as ice types. If you ever do manage to fight an ice type, especially one with freeze dry, that's kind of an issue, since your only ice resist is a Manaphy, and you have a Garchomp, so that will be baiting out many ice moves throughout the seasons, even if it's not stab. Like, random ice beams could be annoying for this team outside of the Manaphy. However, you do have the Mega Scovillain, which isn't an annoying mon. Like, the verdict's still out if it's great, but it's definitely annoying. But I'll pass it off to Neji.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on a lot of things here. The ice resist thing is a big thing. I don't love that our steel type or the Garchomp does not resist ice. Also, we don't have a fairy on this team. I will say your hazards are quite good with Garchomp and Mew, and you have good removal with Corviknight. I also think your mix of offenses is good with, like, you have good physical attackers and you have good special attackers on this team. But I don't feel like defensively this team really holds up against much of anything, unfortunately. Manaphy is not that great as a defensive Pokemon, doesn't have any recovery, and the way this team is built, Manaphy needs to take a lot of hits. Yeah, like, your only water resister are Manaphy and Littleroot, which both are not, like, great defensive Pokemon, and like we said with the ice thing, so in general it's a little tough, but we'll see if you can make it work.
Woo.
All right. Number 15, we have Beat You Up, which is Lumew's team. This is a classic Lumew draft, as we've seen from last season in Grande. Very interestingly built, which, I mean, to be fair, did work out for you last season. So clearly this type of team works out for you, but unfortunately for the power rankings, it did not hit the mark. It is a bit of a strange looking team. Just feels like a bunch of guys. This team definitely does not break water types very well. Might be forced to be Terra Grass Comfey for many weeks. We don't have the best offensive guys for like ground types either. We do have an Aloe at least that could pivot and flip around, but it just kind of feels like a bunch of guys. There's not like a super good quality of Pokemon on this team. I also think the Hoopa is a little weird because I feel like this team really wants the defensive profile of a dark type, and obviously Hoopa does not give that to you because it is a psychic type as well. So I think it's a little bit weird on this team. But yeah, I'll pass it to Zod for more analysis.
Yeah, I think actually one positive about this team is this team debatably has the best Terra captains. Like you have the Terra Comfey, which is good. Terra Colossal, I think, is a really good like second tier Terra captain. And then there's the Terra Vespiquen, which might come at some point, but it's there. However, like even though like the top end Mon quality isn't high on this team, the sheer number of Mons on this team is annoying to prep for, since like there aren't a ton of like completely like unusable Pokemon. Like Terra Vespiquen can be annoying if you don't like prep for it properly, and Tangela can also be annoying if you don't like respect it. And then you have a lot of decent to like solid Mons. So just like the sheer number of Mons is definitely a positive for this team, but because of the sheer number, your top 6 power is definitely probably the lowest out of anyone we'll see on this tier list today.
Yeah, I agree with that. The defensive pieces of the team are very good, which is a plus. Obviously, it's kind of like pseudo stall with Clodsire, Aloe, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think you'll do good with it. You did good with the team last season. It's very similarly built. So, unfortunately, 15th is where you've been placed. All right. I will give this one to you at 14.
Yeah, so at number 14, we have Ben, which if this was power ranked based off player skill, they would be far from 14th. However, this is unfortunately just based on the team. And unfortunately, this team is, I would say, a very flawed team. Like, the first thing that stuck out to me was after Dragapult, your speed isn't great. You have an Archeops, which is also your only Stealth Rocker, as your second fastest Mon. And then you have an Urshifu single, which, like, might be forced into a lot of Scarfs throughout this season just for speed. Luckily, you do have a viable Trick Room mode, I believe. Yes, you have the Trick Room mode with Slow King and Ursaluna. You also do have the funny fish Arctivish, which spoiler alert actually came to week 1 and did very well. So as an Arctivish believer, I am very happy about that. That's a very a funny Pokemon. However, like on looking at the other Terra Captain, Tangrowth is also, I think, a pretty sneaky good Terra Captain. Any like Terra Regenerator Mon can be definitely annoying, being able to customize what type you want to be defensively. However, this team is also kind of like lacking great hazards. As I mentioned before, your only rocker is an Archeops, and your spikes is a Klefki, which is a good spiker. But that being it is quite underwhelming.
Yeah, I think you hit pretty much everything that I was going to mention. I would also say this team is definitely lacking on special offense, very physical heavy. You're going to get like Rocky Helmet spammed every single week with a Scizor and an Urshifu. And your other guys are all physical too, besides Strike Bolt, which also likes to run physical sometimes. So that is one other thing to note. But I think this team will actually play pretty well. I just think it's missing a couple things, like you said, the speed, the hazards, the Trick Room mode's nice, but I don't think the team's that bad. Unfortunately, Skypillar seems to be pretty good at drafting, so we will move on to 13th. At 13th, we have Necrotic. I know you did make some transactions to your team, but we are looking at it for the original team. It's just a bit of a strange team. You're not missing like any of the good types, but we don't have a defensive steal, which I think is a bit of an issue. It's just a Bisharp, obviously, which is going to tear out of it most weeks. It doesn't do exactly what you want from the steal. We don't have any really great water switch-ins, in my opinion, for the Mega Delphox. Like, defensively, it's Palafin or a Bramblegast, which is not super exciting. Also not the biggest fan of our ground switch-ins, because they all get nuked by Stone Edge, and Bramblegast doesn't count. It's not a Pokemon, in my opinion. Good things, though. You have good speed. You have really good priority on this team, like crazy good priority. And your hazards and removal is good. And I think Terra Bisharp's underrated. I mean, maybe not in this league because it's 9 points, but in general, I think it's quite good. But just the team looks a little bit awkward to me. And I did notice you dropped Clefable, which I feel like is holding your team together defensively, so I'm a little concerned with the transactions, but I won't go into it too much. I'll hand it off to Zod.
Yeah, I think you covered most of what I wanted to talk about. I feel like Savali on this team is going to be filling a lot of holes defensively, specifically, as you mentioned, the water resist. Like with you having the Mega Delphox, you are baiting in a lot of water types. However, like outside of that one flaw, I think this team does do a decent enough job, like supporting the Mega Delphox. Like you have decent removal between Defox Valley, Rapid Spin, and Mortal Spin. As well as I think Palafin does pair well with it offensively with Mega Delphox, since you are forcing the bulky waters to have to pick their poison between physical and special. However, at the same time, Palafin is very much carrying the physical offense of this team. You have the Terra Bisharp, which is good, but will likely not be going to every match. And then like after that, you have like the niche, like physical, like Thunderous or like Bramblegast, which are not like amazing, like physical breaking threats. So yeah, that's really the only other thing I would like to point out about this team.
Yeah, fair. All right, we'll move on to 12, and I'll give you Dankus Dad's team.
Ah, yes, Dankus Dad. Debatably might be the best Dankus Dad team we've seen in a long time. However, unfortunately, this is Skypillar, so you're still at 12. However, like one thing I do really like about this team is you have the Mega Florges or Mega Floette, and you have really good support around it. The combination of like Lando T and Victini can break a lot of the bulky steals and even like the bulky poisons very well. Even like bulky fires are annoying with the combination with Hisuian Samurott. However, the team is like weird, kind of slow. Like you have the Terra Noivern, which is decent, but after that, then you have the 102 Floette, and then we're looking at like Victini. Additionally, Aegislash feels like it's going to be filling a lot of roles defensively on this team. If you do manage to fight one of the viable rock types, it's your only rock resist, as well as like your best fairy resist. Like you do a Victini, but a Victini would rather not be very defensive, even though it does have decently good bulk with the 100s across the board. But I'll pass this off to Neji to talk about their opinions on this.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I'll talk about some good things about the team. Well, first off, like you said, you support the flow out well with the Landers, Victini offensively for those steals. I think this is maybe the best Hazard team when you have a Samurai Hisui and a Diancie and the Landers, which is like one of the best rockers in the game. Would be nice to have other removal that's not the Rotom, and a grounded poison would be nice on this team. Overall though, quite good. Nice mix of physical, special attackers, and same in the bulk category, but yeah, I do think Aegislash might be taken on quite a bit defensively. But just like looking at this team, I feel like it's very scary to face in the builder. You have like the biggest special nuke Floette and one of the biggest physical nukes V-Create Victini. So it's definitely going to be tough if you don't have the proper stuff in your team to handle this. So I think you did a pretty good job drafting with this one. We'll move on to number 11. Well, I'm going to pass it off to you because it's your team, but yeah, we both had it at 10.
Hello. Yes, both of us ranked my team at 10. However, I'm at 11. So that's just how that worked out. However, yes, this is my team. I think it's okay, hence why it's at 10. Probably my weakest AFG team in a while. However, I do have the Mega Alakazam, and I do think Mega Alakazam is quite good in this format. However, I also think my team is very reliant on the Mega Alakazam, especially like offensively. I think my team does actually have like pretty good, like, or really good bulk between like the Ting-Lu and the Peturunt, and then all my other like lower tier guys. However, like once we get past like the Terra Slitherwing, it definitely gets questionable, which may or may not have been due to certain snipes. However, like I do think this team, though I think a little funky, is like decent enough. I think it might have a little bit of a water weakness. Like there is the Primarina, which is a good water check, and then there's the Syphazard, which isn't the bulkiest of Mons. However, I do have the Peturunt, which, if it's not a special water type, can do decent enough with it. But at the same time, I also don't want to speak too much since I don't want to give my opponents ideas. But no, but in all seriousness, like I think my team is fine. Like I wish it could have gone a different other way, but I'll pass it off to Neji for a less biased viewpoint.
Yeah, also I might be loud on Discord for you because I now have to eat my mic because apparently I'm quiet, so
oh gosh,
I'm maximum volume on Streamlabs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, like you said, some snipes kind of affected the back half of your draft. I also think the speed is a bit of an issue because I feel like you have a gap from 121 to 88 because Lycanroc's probably not going to come to that many games because Slitherwing's going to hog the Terra Captain role. But at least you do have two guys who are very fast. But then, yeah, the issue with people like going out of it and Modest because they don't need to worry about other stuff. Maybe they respect Lycanroc, but we'll see if I do.
I don't think you faced me this season, so.
No, I think I face you.
Do I face you? Oh.
I think so.
I'm blind.
But yeah, no, the team's good. You support Mega Alakazam really well. Good defensive and offensive profiles for the most part on this team. Terra Slitherwing is one of the best Terra Captains in my opinion. Very, very good. And you have a good rapid spinner alongside a Ting-Lu. And yeah, not much else that you've already said. I think the team's pretty good. Unfortunately, like we have mentioned, the back half could maybe be a bit better if things were available, but it is what it is. It's still a good
It's
Mega
the game
Jam
we
team.
play.
Yeah. Drafting in Sky Pillar moment.
Yeah.
Can't go into Littleroot with Azalea and build a Darkrai Mega Latios team.
Oh, that'd be
the
so
free
nice,
agent
but
board.
no, I am cursed by my ability to play well.
Yeah, sad. All right. At 10th, we have McMillions. This is a pretty good team, I would say. First off, our ground type is a Golurk, which isn't great. I mean, it's still a solid guy, but obviously you'd prefer to have a better ground type there. I do like the Trick Room mode that you have with P2 and Melmetal. We saw it was very good last season when Ben had it. Melmetal was one of the top 3 kill leaders, had many kills. I think your speed is nice on your top 3 guys, but after that, there's basically 0 speed to for your opponent to deal with, because Electivire's fake, Florges is not a speedy guy, and then it's not as big of a deal, like I said, on this team though, because of the Trick Room part, but it is something to note. Hazards are very good because you have a Skarm, and Meow can sometimes run it too. Good mix of threats with breakers and setup guys. And I think Terra Porygon 2 is definitely one of the best Terra captains. So overall, it's a pretty good team. I'll pass it to Zod.
Yeah, I think you covered most of what I wanted to talk about. As someone who spent a lot of time looking at this team last week, I think one of the more major flaws I've noticed is that 2 of your defensive pieces in Toxapex and Skarmory are both weak to electric, and your 2 electric communities are the Golurk and the Electivire, which both realistically won't be coming to many games, which does kind of like force your like Porygon 2 to go an electric an electric defensive type if you're facing any sort of like viable electric types. Like I brought a Belly Bolt last week and it was annoying for the team. So like that's kind of like the biggest flaw in quotation marks I see in this team. Once again, this is Sky Pillar. All these teams are at least good. But yeah, getting very nitpicky with it. Like if I could get even like more nitpicky, since a lot of your lower end guys are so defensive, you're really reliant on like your top 3 to be the offensive engine of your team. And if like 1 or 2 of your Masquerada Metal and like Latios don't have a great matchup, I could definitely see this team having difficulties breaking down other bulky teams.
Good points. All right, we shall move on to number 9. We have Sith or Scythe, however you say it. I can start with this one. I think the team is pretty good. I think there's a couple issues. We don't have a real way, in my opinion, to break bulky waters on this team when we have something like Chandelure, Weavile, and Treads. Would be nice to have like an electric or grass offensive guy. Your speed is very good on this team, and you have different priority options, which is nice. I just think the back half of the team could maybe be something different, like Braviary, Pincurchin, Orbeetle could maybe be something different. I also think having another Stealth Rocker for a team with Iron Treads is nice, because Treads is like super 4-move syndromed a lot of the weeks and can't, or doesn't really want to run Stealth Rocks, because oftentimes Rapid Spin is very important to have, and then you're already running out of moves because you need Earthquake, and then you get one other move. So that's not the greatest, but I do think the team is pretty decent. I'll give it to Zod.
Yeah, I also think this team is pretty decent. You already hammered in all the flaws I see in this team, but like I think this team, especially at the top end, does have a really good like offensive profile. A lot of the top end threats either like break or like threaten the checks. Like Iron Valiant doesn't like bulky poison types, and you have a Latios and an Iron Treads. Like Weavile doesn't like fairies or water types, which once again the water types might be an issue, but like fairy types can also be like at least like threatened and chipped down by the Latios, and as well as hit super effectively by the Iron Treads. However, yeah, like really my only like major nitpicks of this team is I think the bottom end of the team could definitely be reworked, especially with the 2 extra points that you accidentally did not spend. So that would be helpful, as well as maybe getting like an electric type that's not Pincurchin to at least threaten the water types that are not like Wo-Chen trying to click grass moves,
Yeah.
which isn't ideal. Typically, you like to click Leech Seed, Ruination, which you did do in your week 1 match to success. But yeah, bulky waters might be a big issue throughout the season.
All right, number 8. I'll let you start off with Nami's team.
Okay, yes, we have our fellow mod, Nice First Nami. To start off, you did draft the BTM, my favorite Pokemon. That did not influence my ranking, but it's cool. But yes, so actually being more serious about this team, I think this team does have like really good pivots. Like the vast majority of the Pokemon on this team do have pivots. The only mons that don't are the Mimikyu that's no longer on the team, the King Gambit, and the Behem. So like this team does have very good pivoting. Unfortunately, your fastest Pokemon is a Cinderace, which like 119 isn't the greatest top end threat, as well as on top of that, like many times the Mega Latios isn't going to be too fast, which means same with the Celebi, which means your primary speed here is Cinderace, like Landorus, mainly Scarf Landorus's, and then like other like Scarfers. So like definitely like the speed is the biggest issue I have here. Also, a very small nitpick is the only form of hazards you have on this team is Stealth Rocks. Now you do have a lot of Stealth Rockers. However, some of them would rather not click Stealth Rocks, mainly King Gambit and Landorus, but you still do have the Celebi and Empoleon, which are good rockers. So yeah, passing the baton to Neji.
Yeah, I think he covered the main issue, I think, which is the speed, because the Latias doesn't run speed that often. Don't have a grounded poison, but on this type of team, it doesn't really matter, because you have a Latias and a Landorus and Empoleon, King Gambit that are all immune, and a Cinderace that runs boots a lot of the time, so that's okay. Honestly, I don't think there is much wrong with this team. I think it's good. I think Terra Celebi is really broken. You got good removal with Quack and Empoleon and Cinderace. And defensively, you've got some good pieces as well. Mega Latios is very good at defensively. Celebi with any Terra type is very good. And I think it's well constructed. I don't think there's too much else wrong with it, honestly. It's a good team.
Yeah.
That will be a common trend among the rest of the teams.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
All right, next up we have Isaac Ghoul at number 7. Definitely a solid team. I know you have dropped Chiyu for Deoxys speed since, but I'll cover this version of the team. Yeah, not really missing any important types. I would say our top 3 offensive guys, Gallade, Roaring Moon, and Chiyu, are all not excited about facing fairy types, but you did add a Nidoking and a Tinkaton, which obviously are good into that, but just one thing to note. But again, you did drop the Chiyu, so speed is very good on this team. Hazards are good with Tinkaton, and Gligar is not bad. I mean, it's not going to come that often, but it's still solid. I think the defensive backbone on this team is pretty good. I mean, it's built on a lot of low-tier guys, which is not necessarily the best, but Terra Shaman can check a lot of things, so that's good. And overall, I think the team's pretty good. I'll pass on to Zod.
Yeah. So I guess actually the one thing that actually I do disagree with you on this is I'm not a big fan of the speed of this team. Like obviously before it got the Deoxys speed, even though the average speed stat is 96, your top end speed is Roaring Moon, and though Roaring Moon, Mega Gallade, and Chiyu can all run like max speed or speed creeping max speed very easily, You will be if in a hypothetical situation you don't have the DO speed. When you are facing the things that are faster than Roaring Moon, you are kind of forced into running scarfs in order to like revenge a lot of threats. But once again, we're getting nitpicky. Another nitpick would be that like Tinkaton is your only like dragon check defensively, unless we count Terra, which like is okay. It's fine. However, there are a lot of dragon types that can get through Tinkaton, which will force your Shaman to run Terra Fairy, which isn't the worst type to run. But once again, as we're getting towards the top of the power rankings in Sky Pillar, we do have to get nitpicky in order for us not to be continuously glazing all these teams. But yeah, no, this is, I think, a really solid team. I think it got better with transactions, but those aren't counted here. I'm realizing in the moment that you're accidentally kind of making my team from last season. Just kind of realized that with the DO speed, the Needle King, and the Roaring Moon. But yeah, moving on to the next person, we have, drum roll please, we have Neji.
It's me.
So I'll let you yap about your team for a little bit.
Yeah, I think my team's all right. Or I think it's okay. I think the team's pretty good, but it's not exactly what I was hoping for. There was a lot of snipes. Didn't get my good friend Slowbro, unfortunately, but you know, we make the most of the situation, and I think the team overall is pretty good. I would say kind of main issue is the team is very dark weak, which I noticed in week 1. To be fair, I was facing Roaring Moon and Chiyu, so I mean, most teams probably gonna have a little bit of an issue. So Terra Fairy was mandatory that week. But in general, I think the team supports Mega Greninja pretty well. I can get through the stuff that it doesn't want to deal with, and defensively can answer it, or answer those things with my defensive pieces. And yeah, I think the Terra captains are cool. Not exactly what I wanted, but I think Slowbro is underrated. And I think might put in a lot of work this season. But yeah, that's mostly what I got about this.
Yeah, I do agree a lot with what you said there. Like, I feel like this team will be forced to run a lot of Terra Fairy, especially since, as you mentioned, dark types could be an issue with this. However, the other like defensive hole I kind of see is ghost types. Now, once again, not a ton of viable ghost types, so it's not the worst weakness, but you have a Kamala and Mega Greninja, which the Kamala, as a big fan of Kamala, I do like it as like a low tier normal, but like preferably you don't want to be bringing it a ton, and Mega Greninja is very frail. So that may force you to make difficult decisions whether or not you want to Terra into a type to help the ghost type, or help with the whatever the fairy type would want to resist, whether it's dark or like dragon, since you do have 2 steel types on this team, but one of them is a Kartana, which if it's being hit by the special side isn't really taking any hits. But yeah, like I could, I guess, get a little bit more nitpicky and say like Rotom Wash is your only like real water resist. But like, once again, like we're getting to the top of here where all the teams are good, and I think your team does really support Mega Greninja well offensively. You can really break a lot of the mons that typically want to check Mega Greninja between your Kartana and Zapdos, breaking the bulky waters and the fairy types. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this team.
Yeah, go booty. If you know, you know. All right. Number 5 is Northside Noivern's Galadites team. I'll let you start this one off.
Yeah. So the first thing I did notice about this team is I think this team does support the Kyurem Black pretty well. You do have like the snow support to help with the defense boost, but you also do have good ways to break like the bulky fairies with your Slowking Galar and Mega what's that mon called? Mega Skarmory. Yes, I can read. as well as other types that would like to check the Kieran Black like steel types. You have the Keldeo as a really good check for those, as well as Donphan and Incineroar. Those are also two good steel breakers. However, I do feel like Incineroar might have a little too much roll pressure on this team. Like there are certain types like fire and ghost that like Incineroar will likely be like the check to that. With fire types you do have the water bubble uh Araquanid, which can deal with fire types pretty well since it does make it a resist. However, like once again, we're getting nitpicky here. This team also does look a little weak on the Fizz Def side, especially after Skarmory Mega Evolves, since your only other like great Fizz Def wall is Donphan, and like Incineroar kind of with Intimidate. Then next you're looking at Serena, which isn't amazing, and like Kieran Black, which is technically a good Fizz Def wall, but would rather be doing other things besides being your Fizz Def wall since it is a Kieran Black. But I'll pass this off to Neji.
Yeah, I think you hit pretty much everything. Don't have too much else to add. I think the team is definitely quite fire weak because Incineroar is not that great, and then we don't have anything else besides a Keldeo. Speed on this team is very good. I'm a fan of the Terra Jolteon. I think Mega Skarmory is underrated as well. It's nice that it can look kind of flex between if you want to keep it bulkier at the start and take a hit, weak armor, whatever, SD. It's definitely pretty good. Yeah, honestly, there's not really much wrong with this team. You're number 5 for a reason. I think they're just 4 teams that are a little scarier and have everything kind of going on for them. So we shall reveal one of those top 4 teams. At number 4, we have Smaster. Yes, unfortunately, you can see by the graphic here, you were tied for number 3 because I ranked it 4 and Zodiac ranked it 3, and for the person that got 3rd, I ranked it 3rd and Zodiac ranked it 4th. So, had to come in, ask Q-Spots what he thought, and fortunately, he thought the other team was better, so you suck. Well, not actually, but yeah, I mean, this team is really, really strong. I like that we have good, bulky offense. Like, Celesteela and Gouging Fire are very annoying Pokemon because, well, first off with Gouging, obviously you need to respect Dragon Dance and boosters and whatever, but also it's very annoying as a defensive piece because it has Burning Bulwark and Morning Sun, and it's very fat. And very similarly with Celesteela, you can go offensive or defensive, and you need to respect both sets, especially like sweeping sets. It's easy to get swept by them and underprepare for Celesteela. So I think that's very nice. You have very nice defensive pieces too. You have one of my favorite Pokemon, Mega Lopunny, which I think is very broken and became even more broken because they gave it Swords Dance and Mach Punch. Terra Hattering's really good. You have good pivoting. The only thing I think that could improve is your hazard game is really poor. It's Crocodile with rocks and a Frostlass. So I think in that regard, you could definitely have better options. But you support Lopunny well with 2 good knockoff users, Crook and Tentacruel. And overall, I think the team is going to be very annoying to prep for and very hard to kill and deal with everything while Lopunny's beating you up and you have all these fat Pokemon on the side.
Yeah, I agree with literally everything you said about this team. I guess like the one like real nitpicky thing I could get is like your water resists. One of them's the Tentacruel, and then you have the fun like grassy terrain and burden core of Flacky and Sceptile, which like to be fair, I think Terra Sceptile is like I would say like an underrated Terra Captain as like your secondary Terra Captain behind Hattering, but typically you do like it with a terrain setter that's not a Thwacky. Like I'm a big in quotation marks Thwacky fan, but like that is like though a really fun combination. I don't know if it's the greatest way we could spend those. That would be 8 points. But like, it's not bad for sure. I think that core actually does help, like, support the gouging fire pretty well. Not only are you getting grassy terrain, but you are threatening the bulky water types. You also have the Raikou for that. I think your support for gouging fire for this team is really well. You have a lot of threats that threaten what gouging fire wants to be dealt with, whether it's like ground types trying to click like Earthquake. You do have a great immunity in Celesteela, or like types like Bulky Waters and Bulky Fairies. You have respective Pokemon to help break down those types. But yeah, congratulations, Smasher, for having a good team this season. We can move on to the person you technically tied with, but unfortunately Q Spots likes drum roll please, JV's team a little better. So I'll pass this back to Neji.
Yeah, JV, this team is pretty nasty. I don't know how you got Tusk and Darkrai, to be honest, especially the Darkrai part. Darkrai coming back to like the top of the draft in round 2 is pretty crazy, considering it's so good. Yeah, there's not much to say that's wrong about this team. We have quite nice momentum on this team to get Darkrai and Tusk and Dragonite in that are Pokemon that obviously don't have that option. Speed tiers are good. You got good priority with a Dragonite, obviously. Hazards are good. Removal is good. I mean, you have a Great Tusk, of course. You have infinite Stealth Rock options on this team, too. Maybe one thing is I'm not as sold on your Terra Captain choice. Rotom Heat, obviously, we know the Rotoms are good with Terra, but Rotom Heat's already a really good typing. That's kind of why you draft it. But it's going to be good with Terra. I just think there were maybe other options. Like, I feel like the Dunsparce would benefit more to have Terra, whereas Rotom's already good without it. But, I mean, obviously I'm nitpicking here. Otherwise, yeah, I don't really have much else. You have good special attackers, good physical attackers. I think the team's going to play really well with how you've built it, and it looks like a fun team.
Yeah, like I agree with what you said, Neji. I guess to get like a little nitpicky, like fighting types, like you do have a Pheasantipity, which is a great like fighting check. But if the fighting type can deal with Pheasantipity, then you're only fighting resist is the Mega Dragonite. And like Great Tusk can kind of take physical hits since most fighting types are physical attackers. But like once again, getting nitpicky, I could see that being an issue with in a similar vein, like water types. Like if the offensive water type can get past the Ogerpon, which though Ogerpon is a very good like water resist water check. That could also kind of be annoying. Then you have the Terra Cradily, which does have Storm Drain, so you can do some Terra shenanigans with that. And then like the Dragonite, which like is a fine enough water resist. Like once again, like we're trying to get nitpicky up here since we're getting to the top division at the top of the tier or at the top of the power rankings. But yeah, no, overall this team is great. No pun intended with the Great Tusk. That was not intentional. You have the Darkrai at round 2, which shockingly is quite common in AFG. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th Darkrai that did not go in round 1 this season. So AFG Darkrai is quite good. Maybe draft it so we don't end up getting Darkrai Great Tusk teams or Iron Valiant Great Tusks or Iron Valiant Darkrai teams, please.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel like I used to hate Darkrai, but now I feel like it's really good. I've changed my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's quite good. Yes.
Yeah, it's good. Has a lot of different set options. But at number 2, we have Dracogon. This is a dastardly team, bro. Like,
I'm very glad I do not face this team this season.
Yeah, me neither. Oh wait, never mind. I do. Yeah, this team is disgusting. You have a very good regen core with Tornadus and Slowbro. You deal with like every type in the game defensively. Well, like you offensively pressure them well. You have obviously very good removal because you have a Terapagos and a Tornadus that doesn't mind running Defog if it needs to. Hazards are quite good too. Terapagos doesn't mind running rocks, and then you have Registeel. Sandy Shocks loves to run hazards and be a lead. Your Terra Captains are both very threatening. Both have setup options too that you need to prep for. And yeah, I mean, this team looks like hell to face, honestly. Like, it's just so hard to kill your top three and, well, 3 to 4 pieces, because Terapagos has Terra Shell too. So if you manage to get through the regen core with some of your offensive guys, they still have Terra Shell in the back to stop any setup threats, and then Meganium is a bit of a demon too. So yeah, I don't really want to face this team, but I kind of have to.
Yeah. This team is quite annoying and quite good. Like, I tried my best to get nitpicky with this, but I couldn't find anything I could really say strong with the correct wording and energy behind it. Like, I guess like special fire types might be a little annoying for this team, since like the Slowbro isn't the most specially defensive, and you do have the Hisuian Arcanine, which type unfortunately does allow it to have many weaknesses that fire types can get for coverage. But like, once again, like, not like the biggest issue, since you can just bring like the Terra Scrafty and make it like water if that's really an issue. Like, I guess like maybe dark types might be an issue. Like, you do have a Mega Meganium, which is a great dark resist once it Terras. But theoretically, if the dark type could get past that, it could be annoying, since then you just have the Scrafty, which is likely not coming to a whole ton of matches. But this is me getting really, really nitpicky at this point. This team is a nightmare to look at and face. I am glad I am not facing this, at least in the regular season. But yeah, I guess time to move on to the team that's seen as even more of a nightmare.
Yeah.
At this point, there's only one team left, so
Yeah, I'll
if
just say
you're
one thing
cracking,
quickly, that it's funny that this team gets packed up by Chi-Yu and it got dropped week 1.
that is true. That Chi-Yu is probably the best mon in this team, and it is gone.
Yeah. All right. Zodiac was alluding to it. Let's see. Number 1 is Lunar, West Coast Water Ponds. Lunar is often at the top of our rankings. I feel like Lunar is very good at drafting teams, but I will pass this on to you to talk about.
Yeah, Lunar is quite good at drafting. I can't think of the last time they had a bad team in AFG, at least in the main season. But yes, this team, I'm glad I do not have to face this either. Actually, I'm glad and slightly unhappy for reasons that would take too long to explain. But I'm glad I'm not facing it, because this team is ridiculous. If I can get really nitpicky for a moment, this team is kind of weak to rocks or rock type attacking. Like, you only have one rock resist, and it's the Zygarde 10%, which isn't defensive, but like, rock types are pretty far and few between when it comes to like good offensive rock types. And you do have a Gliscor, which though it doesn't resist it, like, can take it on. Same with the Scizor. If we get more nitpicky, like, this team might be a little flying weak if the flying type can get past Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is a good flying check, and there aren't like a ton of like high end like flying type offense. It's like the Torn T, basically. That's basically it. I guess like Mega Dragonite. But once again, getting more nitpicky. And my last big nitpick is I think this team would like a Rapid Spinner, just because like you preferably don't want to have to defog your own hazards away if you want to remove hazards off your side of the field. But moving past all these like small nitpicks, this team has amazing offensive synergy. A lot of these offensive mons, such as the Tapu Koko, Greninja, and Zygarde Terra%, that's Terra, all like threaten and break for each other very well. like the bulky grass types are what like Greninja not or is what. Wow, I cannot speak. I'm glad we're getting to the end of this. Zygarde 10% dislikes the most, and Greninja threatens them, at least chips them down with water type attacks or threaten with like Protean, Sludge Wave, and Ice Beam. Same with Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko doesn't like ground types, but you have a Greninja. Greninja doesn't like fairy types outside of like Protean, like poison moves. However, the Zygarde 10% also can chip down the bulky fairy types. I could go on, but yes, this team is nuts, and it's why it's at the top of this tier. So I'll pass it off to Neji so you can continue to glaze our fellow mod.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got nothing bad to say that you already did. So yeah, I'll just glaze your team. I think it's really, really good. You have every important type. You're not weak to anything really except what you said, which are kind of fake types. Speed is very good. Priority is very good. Greninja, Zygarde, Scizor, even Skuntank has Sucker Punch. Hazards are insane. Very good offensive pieces on this team and defensive pieces. And yeah, your Terra Captains are both really good. Zygarde is going to be obviously most weeks, but Sigilif I think can find certain matchups where it can be really good too, and you still got to prep for that guy because it's scary as well. And yeah, I don't really got much else to say, to be honest. I think the team is just really good and scary, and I don't want to face it, and good job drafting this.
Yeah.
And unfortunately I have to face team 1 and 2 on my schedule. GG.
Ooh, for you.
But then I face all the teams that we ranked at the bottom, so you guys better show me up. Show me your teams don't suck.
Oh yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I think the bottom 4 teams. So yeah. Hello Ben, Lawyer Turtle, and Lumu, however you pronounce their name. I know you've told us once before, but we have all forgotten, and we continuously question it. But yes, please don't prove me wrong, even though this is a power ranking based on team alone and not skill.
Yeah. As you can see, here are the final rankings visualized. Everyone, for the most part, sorry, bottom people, has a pretty good team. And I think it's going to be a great season. We got a lot of good coaches in Sky Pillar. And I'm excited to face you all. Well, half of you, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm not excited. Why are you guys so good? Why am I here?
It's true, actually. I'm going to go Littleroot.
Yeah, let's just ignore what happened last season. Both of us really deserve to be in Littleroot.
Wait, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't make finals this season.
If I do, I'm gonna lose again. I'm gonna become 3/4 to the Buffalo Bills.
Sad.
For all my NFL fans.
Yeah. I think that was our last slide. Yeah. So we are going to move on to Littleroot.
Littleroot.
Hello, Clay and Lunar. You're both here, so I am going to open up Lunar's stream. Give me a second, everybody. How do I make this full screen?
Let's get the ping out for the people. That was great. I love getting glazed.
Yeah. Your team's OP.
The message I sent on Discord, I did the full draft plan in like round 3. I said, I solved Pokemon, ask me anything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but we got...
Okay, hold on. I got this over
The
here,
best
guys, and
div.
full screen. How do I make this actually full screen?
A little magnifying in the bottom right, I think. Hit that. Oh, no, that's not it.
GG. Anybody know?
Maybe right click and then do like, more
Pop it
options.
out, and then make it full screen.
Pop it out.
There we go. That works.
All right. Crop that. Nah, I think it's good like that.
Yeah. Is it good?
Best
Do I got
division.
everything on it?
Yeah, I think so. That's the full thing.
All right. I will pass it on to Clay and Lunar. Enjoy Littleroot. I'm going to AFK, but the stream will be live and people are here. I will ping them as well if we haven't. Enjoy. Wait, hold on. It glitched, guys. 1 sec. Boom. We're back. All right.
All right, ready to go?
Go for it.
Mr. Clay.
Hello, everyone. This is Littleroot, Season 10. I'm Clay. I'm the coach of Sylveon KC. This is my division. It won't take us long to get to me, but we'll get there eventually. Lunar, you just saw Lunar's arguably the best drafter in Season 10, so...
Yeah, we're gonna get into it.
We
I'm
have
excited.
We have both sides of the coin here. Lunar's going to
It's true.
explain all the doodads and things and the numbers and whatnot.
Oh yes, that's my favorite part of the slide deck that I made. The numbers and the doodad. So let's get started. And so we see that's part of our Tabellenblatt. That's the criteria at the bottom. It's a lot of text and it's not formatted, so don't really read too much into it because we're going to explain to you. But basically, the score is out of 10, and we're going to highlight the weaknesses in your draft. That's what we kind of aim to do here. There is 7-ish categories, and it is context independent, meaning we do not look at who the battler is, what their matchups are. We're just going to look at it in a vacuum, and there is a culture point if you earned it. So let's see. First category we're going to talk about, type matchups and team composition, which is basically, does the team have all the necessary resistances and type variety to make a good Pokemon team? And so if all your team is weak to, say, ground, for example, that's foreshadowing for later. If your team is weak to ground, all 10 of your Mons, you might not get a lot of points in this category, and you will see type matchups and team comp in the header, 15 points. So you could get a maximum of 15 points in this category. I don't think anyone did, but they got close.
Don't believe so.
Yeah, and there's important types that you should have. For example, water, fairy, a ground type, or an electric immunity, and a ground and poison type, the most important of all. And so, yeah, that's what that is. Next category, the hazards. We want to look at how good your team is at setting up hazards on the other side of the field, which includes, of course, as you may know, stealth rocks, spikes, toxic spikes, and sticky web. And so, if to get a 10 or a high score in this category, you need to have all 4 of those, and also the Pokemon that sets them needs to be viable, which means if you brought, say, I don't know, what's a 1-point sticky webber? Charge-a-bug. Surskit, yeah, Surskit. If you have a Surskit, setting up sticky web on the other side of the field, I might not feel inclined to give you a very high point for that sticky web. But if you do have someone like, say, on this picture, Glamora, probably the best hazard setter in this whole format, you will probably get a lot of points for hazards. And so yeah, that's pretty simple, I think. So the next one, hazard removal and support. And so if the last category was about setting the hazards, this one is all about removing them. And so what we want to see is Rapid Spin, take the hazards off your side of the field, the Fog, and also to kind of add some padding to this category, we want to see if your team can bush pass and set screens, basically setting up your own offense in order to succeed. And thus, the other side of that, with status and disruption. And so when you see the other team trying to set up in your face, trying to get their active plans going, trying to do Swords Dance and all these shenanigans, we look at your team's ability to stop that from happening. So moves like Encore, Taunt, Trick, Knockoff, very important move in draft, Knockoff. And so this, there's a lot in this category, but it's very important. And also looking at your team's ability to status the other Pokemon, Toxic, Burn, Paralyze, or Sleep.
I want to point out, this category is important specifically because Wyzant is playing, and as we learned all last season, the Wyzant special sometimes is not checked very well, and so this is how you check it, is stuff like this.
Yeah, this category is basically, if Wyzant, Terra Poison, Suicune in your face, what are you going to do about it? And so think about it like that if you are returning Littleroot coach. And so this is a big kind of catch-all category, offense. So basically, we look at your team's Pokemon, and I kind of conjure in my mind how good of a time am I going to have running offense against the other team? Am I able to pivot? Are my Pokemon threatening? Do I have both physical and special attackers? Can I set up and win the game? And yeah. Clay, do you have anything to add to that?
Ping Little Zod.
Why am I on this
If you
screen?
see this serial killer known as Roaring Moon, all-time kill leader, 123 KOs, by the way, that's a lot. That's number one. And he is a menace, equivalent to the police sketch of the Zodiac Killer. And so if you see the Zodiac Killer on the street, or you see Roaring Moon out on the street, please ping Lil Zod on Discord in order to get that man arrested. And so the next category, speed and priority. This kind of helps tie into offense, but we want to see how fast your Pokemon is. We want to see even distribution between the speed tiers. See, that is, kind of underrated part about drafting is you want to have even distribution between the speed tiers, which means like, okay, I have 110 Mon, I'm on 100 speed Mon, 95, 90. And so this is to prevent people from kind of speed creeping you and gaining extra kind of leverage in their EVs against your team. So that's why that's important. And also, we want to see your priority options. For example, we have Hitmontop there, known priority user with Mach Punch. And we have a status priority user as well, Prankster, Meowstic. And of course, you see Mega Greninja there, who has the same base speed as Dragapult. Very fast Mon. And so, yeah, that's kind of what that is. And the defense, quite an esoteric category, but you want to see the defensive prowess on your team. Do you have good defensive cores? Do they synergize? Do they successfully kind of combat the other team's offense? And so we see Alamomola, ability regenerator, very powerful defensive Mon. And we have another defensive Mon, Clodsire, ability unaware. And these two bulky Mons, they kind of form a great core together. And yeah, so I think we have one more category slide, kind of a category. Culture. Oh, we love culture, don't we, here in Littleroot, right? Isn't that right, Clay?
It's literally the most important category.
That's right.
Literally.
And I will say, East Ranks, the culture point did end up mattering a little bit for in some critical team comparisons. At one point, who would thought? So basically, we're looking at your joy, your silliness, and whimsy, hype moments, and aura. Don't forget that. Shitmon picks, weird drafting order, and you can see in our examples we have the mascot pick. We had the Cleffa Clashers last season picking up the Cleffa and putting it on their team for 1 point. They were, I think they were awarded the most culture team in the division last season, so that's why they're there. Clay, you might be familiar with that middle Mon there at the bottom, Sylveon.
Okay. Give it a moment.
We love Sylveon here, and of course, my personal culture all-time favorite, the mono green draft by Allgrass Starter. If you can make a viable team and they're all the same color, shinies included, I find that extremely impressive, and that deserves probably a Nobel Prize. But
I do want to point out with Allgrass Starter, I believe that team did make playoffs that year.
I think they promoted off the all green team, and so it doesn't have to be unviable. I mean, I wouldn't put Cacturne on my team, but they made it work. So who knows? Maybe you can too. And yeah, so I think that's about it for the categories. We're about to go to our first team, number 16. I'm glad we talked about culture and Sylveon because unfortunately Clay is at the bottom of the power rankings this time around, and they know why.
I wonder if how many 65s do we got? 5. Of course, it shouldn't shock anyone that after making the playoffs twice in a row is like, what happens if we did an Evolution team, which I've done before, and it almost didn't work out because I got sniped on Umbreon, but the Shadow Government came in and Umbreon's back, which makes the team worse, honestly. You can see how low those numbers are, and I can tell you that number 43 is so much lower than everything else.
Maybe by about 20 points between this team and the next. But I'll take this time to explain what's going on in this slide. There's a lot of elements. So you see, this is kind of the categories we talked about. You see the total that they have out of 15, 10, 10, 10, 25, 15, 15, and the culture point. We see the scorecard from the Tabellenblatt, and the purple numbers are mine, and the green numbers are Clay's, and we average them together to form these kind of category averages that you see as well in this kind of part here. And at the bottom, this was your total score, which of course aligns with this total score here. And below that is actually a special guest, Incredibles Vibe. Couldn't be here today, but I did ask them nicely to give each team a rating out of 10, just off their first instinct and vibes and aura. Not serious at all. This replaces the community ranking, which we did not get to do this time around, unfortunately. But yeah, and wrap up my thoughts about this team before we go on to the next. You have all the evolutions. That's really cool. You have a lot of fast special attackers in Jolteon, Espeon, Sylveon. Sylveon's not fast, but oh yeah, Mew.
Mew's like the dad, just like taking care of everyone.
Yeah, and without Mew, I will say I would have given you a 1 in every category, but since you have the Mew, it kind of saved you, a little bit of points here and there. So I guess you have that to thank. And unfortunately, your speed tiers are not, as you said, not very well spread out. I didn't know that they all were 65 speed in all those old gen evolutions, but it seems that they are. You do have Eevee on there, the OG, of course, pre-evolution.
Gotta bring kid to work day.
Yeah, gotta bring the kid to work. I hope to see them in the court soon. And so that's that. Next team, number 15, the Round Table Dragon Knights, with an asterisk, because this team was picked up by Azalea Akari and reformed into the Lavender Town Lamps, which is actually a pretty insane team. They are not on the slide deck, but I just want you to know that that team is fucking crazy. But this is not that team. This team features Sneasler, Tabu Lele, which is like, okay, that makes sense to me. It also features Mega Frostlass and Mega Charizard. You can't bring both of those to a match. I don't know what they were thinking. Got a Blaziken in there, which is kind of redundant given you have a Mega Charizard X and a Sneasler. And so to break it down to the categories, the type balance is fucking crazy. All of these Pokemon are weak to ground, which was kind of a sight to see. Everyone's weak or neutral to water, and so they didn't get very good on the type balance. Their hazard setters is Sneasler, Toxic Spikes or something, and then Iron Boulder has Stealth Rocks, or Bisharp has Stealth Rocks. Not very good. Support is none. These are all offensive mons, no utility. Disruption was okay. The offense, I gave it like a decently high score because, these Pokemon just click buttons and run down the other team. That is pretty offensive. The speed, these mons are very fast, and they do get a lot faster given the right conditions. So I actually didn't mark them too bad on that. 9 defenses, I gave them a 9 there because, like I said, these mons are not very bulky at all. And so this is 16.5 out of 100. What do you think about that, Clay?
How many ground weaknesses do you want to have? And the answer being all of them is interesting. I mean, your ground resist is Charizard before Mega. And then the other big issue we had is, how are you getting rid of hazards on this team? And I don't think you want to run Defog Charizard.
I don't think you do either. And I'll let you start off on the next one, Clay. We'll kind of go back and forth here. Are you ready for number 14?
Number 14
is...
We got Hazel, the Chicago Chicoritas. This team ran into the issue of, I drafted 7 Mons that cost too much. And I've never seen a team weak to fighting, but we do have a team weak to fighting here. We have some really good Mons though. Kyurem, which is always scary with Hazel. You got the Washing Machine, you got the Turtle, you got Slowking Galar, which is bulky and hard to deal with. You got Kartana, which is super fast and super strong. You got Urshifu Single Strike again, and you got a fancy Arcanine, and that's it. You got Chikorita, who's a Terra Captain, and you got Charjabug, who's a Terra Captain. And no one else could be a Terra Captain besides those two, because you ran out of points. And so this is just a 7-mon team with sometimes Charjabugs come in, and Chikorita will come for one mean game, probably against Zeddy Dog. And that just limits your options. Like, there you could have up to 11 Mons, and most people have 9 or 10, and this feels like a 7 Mon team that has a lot of weaknesses to fighting.
That is true, Clay. A lot of these Mons are weak to fighting indeed. You did not do well there. I am a fan of the theoretical 7-6 Mon draft, but I think this took it a little one step too far. But I do really like the offensive pieces you have. Given that, if you took the bottom 4, you have no Terra Captain, by the way. If you took the bottom 4 and kind of reformatted it into an actual Terra Captain and it's like some decent role player Mons, I'd say this team could have jumped up maybe, 9, 10 places in the power rankings. But as it stands, I'm afraid that Terra Charger Bug does not move me at all in the context of power ranking drafts. But your offensive pieces are insane.
Great culture. Terra Chikorita. Culture.
You do have the mascot pick. We love that. I can't wait to see what it does on the court. But yeah, I hope that you win games off those first 7 Mons, because if you do not, then it would be kind of rough. All right, the next slide here. The Quebec Quaquavals. Okay, I'm going to talk about this team. There's a lot. I feel like this team kind of had me kind of torn up a bit, because there's a lot of Pokemon here that I like. For example, Meowscarada, Porygon 2. You got Tinglu. That's a crazy Mon. You got Rabombi on here. But the pieces are put together in such a way in that it directly harms the composition of your draft. For example, you have 3 defensive, all of your defensive Mons, every single one is weak to fighting. That cannot be good for when the other person is planning for your team. But on paper, the Pokemon are pretty good, and so I was kind of torn between how to grade this. And so I taxed the shit out of your type balance. I hate it. You are weak to a lot of things that you shouldn't need to be. And your hazards are amazing on account of having Heatran, Tinglu, and Mega Steelix. A little redundant, but your offense is pretty good. If only you had good Terra Captains. If that Porygon 2 was a Terra Captain, if Electrode Hisui was a Terra Captain, you would be in a lot better place. But don't worry, you can still reach playoffs if you play good enough.
I will point out that if you're worried about the rankings, last year's rankings, I think I was 12th, and Wyzant was 10th, and we both still made playoffs, and I made semis. So the ranking does not change how you play. It's just, as a team, take out the coach.
Of course.
I will say another fighting week team, which is kind of interesting, and it's your first 5 Mons, so that's kind of like your 5 important Mons there. You patched it up towards the end with Gengar, which will come a handful of games, and Rabombi, but Rabombi is not resisting much outside of fighting, and Mega Altaria, and you already have Mega Steelix. That's kind of rough. However, there are some good pieces in a vacuum. Meowscarada is good in a vacuum. Heatran is annoying to deal with in a vacuum. Tinglu is hard to deal with in a vacuum. However, when you put them together, you're going to have to play a lot. Normally, Terra Captains can help with that, but the team doesn't have a single Terra Captain, so it's hard to kind of be more flexible in that regard.
That's right. Yeah, that's very well said. Before we move on to the next team, Incredible has given this team a 1 out of 10, and he has provided notes, basically one-liners about why he gave it the rating that it is. And for this team, he simply said lowercase no period, no. And so yeah, unfortunate you did not move Incredible, but I do see success if you're crafty. And so the next team, number 12.
All right.
Low tier Limbo.
Higher up than he probably thought he was going to be. Here's Zeddy low tier Limbo. This team almost doesn't look like a Zeddy draft, and then Zeddy kind of gave in to the demon on his shoulder, and we got Semi-Poor at the end, but we'll talk about Semi-Poor later. This team on paper, similar to Yusef's team, is not bad. Like, Nihilego, strong special attacker. Hydreigon, always very good. You got PZ being a Terra Captain, which is an awesome, special attacker. You got Almamola, which is bulky. You got a lot of coverage in what Gudra can do, being bulky, or you can even do some attacking with it. Donphan is still, in my opinion, is one of the better hazard and hazard removal and kind of mons to add on the team. And then we don't have to talk about Melmetal. Melmetal is very, very strong in draft format. But similar to the previous team, it's not you got a fighting problem, which you got a ground problem. You have a dark problem because your only resist is Hydreigon. And this team isn't a huge fan of if I saw a Wizen situation, I don't think Suicune's nearly going to be as big of a problem, but if it was a setup dark type, I don't know, Swords Dance Weavile or something, that would be really difficult to deal with on this team, especially speed-wise. Your fastest mon is Scolipede, but out of that, you're probably scarfing Nihilego a lot. You might be even needing to scarf Hydreigon or PZ just to outspeed some of the things you need to be able to handle.
And yeah, so as you can see on the Bell and Blot scorecard, I gave this team a 14 in the offense. Play gave it a 20, which is probably the largest disparity between our ratings in the entire slide deck. I do not like your team from an offense perspective. Now let me elaborate. So you have Scolipede, you have Nihilego, you have Hydreigon, you have Terraporygon Z, who is actually a very real threat, and you do have Melmetal. Now, those guys are pretty good breakers, pretty good setup threats, but they do not pivot. So, and when you inevitably bring these mons into a match, you will send these quote-unquote offensive mons out, and you will hit a wall, probably a steel type wall. And so after that happens, you will be forced to switch out. And so that entirely kills your momentum. You will not have anything going for you offensively, but at least they're still pretty good mons. Now, on the defensive side, I think that's where this team genuinely shines, because you have Mega Sableye, you have Alamomola, you have Gudra Hisui, which are all extremely annoying, extremely good defensive walls, and they actually flow together pretty well. Now, if you took the time and kind of trimmed the fat off this draft a little, kind of lean into the stall, I think this team could be actually extremely successful. But, Stall does not really score well on our offensive-sided score sheet. But I think if you really put your mind to it and not get too wacky with that Semi-Poor, we know all about your Semi-Poor from week 1. I think you can actually find a lot of success leaning into the defensive part of your draft. Setting status, setting hazards, using that defensive core and leveraging it to kind of wear down the other team. And so it's actually not too bad. You do have a Semi-Poor. We gave you the culture. Incredible gave it a 10 out of 10, saying, let's see, only one mon above 13 points. Lol, GG, Semi-Poor, go next. I think he liked it a lot. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. Not too bad. Number 11, we have the main Mankeys by Wisent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Pretty solid team. You got, okay. The thing about this is that it on paper is actually a pretty good team, but it's full of the mons I do not personally believe in. I do not like Zeraora. I do not like Gouging Fire. These are personal biases, by the way. I do not like Excadrill. It is too frail. I do not like Gambit, and Terra Captains are actually pretty good. Mega Meganium, goated mon. I think that mon is gonna be in the AFG Hall of Fame after the season. Tax it at 17 points. That mon is genuinely insane. But like we said, if all your mons are weak to ground type, it's not gonna look good. That is what you have going on right now. But you do have a decent spread of types on your team, these are actual mons, probably supporting the Terra Suicune that is nefarious and infamous around these parts. And it's I'm pretty sure that was the kill leader last season. And so if you're leveraging around that Suicune, it's probably going to have a good season. Yeah, by a lot. That Suicune is a serial killer.
Yeah, this is a very typical Wyzant draft. It's super offensively focused and has a lot of really good offensive threats. Its defense relies on Suicune doing Suicune things and King Gambit. And that's kind of about it. And it does not do much in terms of setting hazards, getting rid of hazards, or like support outside of your hazard side is Exadrill. And Exadrill wants to do more than just click rapid spin and stealth rock. And so that's just kind of with how these ratings are. I know Wyzant's not really a support type player. Wyzant likes to find what mon he can click Calm Mind, Rest, Sleep Talk on your team and go from there. And so for a Wyzant draft, when I first scored this, I scored it about so much higher. And then after looking at it and being like, okay, we're missing some things here. We don't got this. And so I know Wyzant will still do very well, just like they did last season. But if you give this to a different person, especially someone who doesn't know how Crocune works, this team is is much more difficult to use, and I think be successful with based on the mons there.
Yeah, very true. This, like you said, this team's very weak on the utility side. It's kind of focused on clicking buttons, getting your win con, gouging fire, Suicune in, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't believe King Gambit's a real defensive piece, only because of the fighting weakness, which will be exploited week after week. But that's about that. Incredible's vibe, you gave it a 4 out of 10. He said the Wyzant special with fun mons. That is pretty good, and it's seemingly true. I haven't paid too much attention to Wyzant's team over the last few seasons, but I know that Suicune very well. That's something I remember. And so Clay, please start us off on number 10.
Number 10, he did it again. It's Sus, and I think we saw this team last season, and the season before that, and the season before that. Sus like Sun, and this is no different. We have double Sunsetters, we have many mons that can abuse Sun, we got Xatu. When I was from last season's graphics and I was just changing out the teams, Sus was the easiest to change because I only had to make 3 changes. I think it was Skarmory, Executor, and Ninetales. And pretty much everything else he used last season. Sun can be really scary and can be really offensive. However, Sun can be abused really easy, and there's some problematic things with drafting the Sun team, which was a bigger problem last season that Sus has seemed to fix a little bit more, is rocks aren't great. Again, I mean, you Magic Bounce Xatu or Great Tusk, great pickup by Sus to help with the rock problem. However, after Great Tusk, still becomes a problem. Very kind of what's coming, and I think kind of difficult to work a second type of team in this. You're bringing Sun.
Yeah, exactly. Your game plan is Sun is notoriously shallow in what it can do in draft, and I do think you will find a lot of difficulty adapting your game plan from week to week while simultaneously getting your one of 2 game plans fully countered by the opposing opponent. And I am surprised that there is 3 new mons here. I did not think this team changed at all aside from those 3 mons. And I will say, your hazards, your support, your disruption, that is all from Screamtail. I hate Screamtail. I hate thinking about Screamtail. I hate looking at Screamtail. I hate playing against Screamtail. I hate building against Screamtail. It is annoying. Thunderwave, hazards, wish passing, Encore, it does it all for utility, and it also it can boost its defenses in the sun, as you have it there on your sun draft, which is actually a very good choice that you have done season after season. That is why you scored pretty high in the utility categories, I will say. And your offense, well, it's a sun offense. I gave it a 25. Clay gave it probably a more fair rating of 17, and that averaged out to 21. That is quite offensive of a team. You got half a culture point because you've done this exact team for like probably 3 seasons in a row. Incredible has given it an 8 out of 10. That is very generous. He says bro copied his homework and made it obvious, and that is so true. Yeah, the Sun team, not too much to talk about. Shout out to Terra Venusaur. That Pokemon's pretty
Terra
good.
Venusaur is really good. We appreciate us continuing with the bet.
Yeah, we do. I do want to put some emphasis on good Terra captains. We've seen some crazy Terra captain picks up till now. So, Terra Venusaur, that's a great change of pace. That mon is genuinely very threatening. And so for the next team, number 9, we have the St. Louis Carvanas. I know you may have been thinking that your team was going to be the top 50 of the power rankings. Unfortunately, you just missed it by 1 placement, but we will talk about your team now. I think this is kind of like the Diog's draft, but better. You lean into the defensive parts. You have a Mega Clefable, which I'm very certain is for just the item. Clefable on the budget, that's pretty good. You have Clodsire, we talked about Clodsire. You have Slowbro, which is a very, very good defensive mon. You have, what else you got? You have a lot of good defensive pieces, and they work together very, very well. In addition to that, your offense is not too bad. You have Volcanion, which, very, very good Pokemon, very, very solid Pokemon. You have Arcanine, for some priority. You have Komodo, which can honestly win games off 1 or 2 turns if not checked properly. And aside from that, your team is also ground weak, but you do have a Weezing Galar to kind of counteract that. You have a couple holes on your type chart, but honestly, who doesn't? Ghost types, we're not really worried about those. See Mega Drampa, 160 special attack, that is genuinely threatening off Hyper Voices. Your team is not too bad. I think, like the Diog, if you lean into the defensive part of your draft and you execute plans very well, you will find a lot of success in Littleroot.
As someone who helped Halo build this draft, the goal was how many immunities can we get, and there's a lot of zeros on that board, and that doesn't include the ability immunities like soundproof or things like that. And so yeah, very defensive, has a couple of issues that we're trying to work out. Flying Staraptor is like licking its lips, but then Staraptor is going to get ran over by a defensive slow or Clodsire, which is the little extra culture point because Terra Clodsire returns again. Very defensive, very stally. I know Halo loves Trick Room, and this team screams, I'm going to set up Trick Room on you, which is great because only 1 mon is above 100. And it's Weavile.
Oh, good old Weavile. Yeah, that's a pretty good knockoff user if you decide to run full stall on someone. Let's see, Incredibles 5, 9 out of 10. That's almost as good as the Diog's rating. He says, highest point mon Weavile, holy comfort draft. I would not consider myself comfortable with this team, but there is a lot of immunity, so maybe you are comfortable from the other team's typed attacks should they fall in line with your immunities. And your team is extremely annoying. Very, very annoying with Klefki Prankster. You got all this Intimidate, Magic Bounce bullshit coming around, all these immunities, unaware. You got a 9 out of 10 on Disruption. That's pretty good. So yeah, I think we're going to move on to number 8, which is past the halfway point. The San Antonio Kings. Go Spurs.
Right. Fierce did a great draft here. We got speed, we got Mega Greninja, and I think that was number 2 off the board. Anytime you draft Glamora, Hazards is going to be just great. A couple of choice mons near the end, but like a very good like 6 mons that you could see coming every week. Flip one out for whatever mon you need, and that's kind of what this draft looks like. Very balanced overall. Could use some issues in terms of typing, like rocks. Rocks aren't great, but you can defog them away. You got Scissor there. Scissor doesn't want to use defog all the time. Serena's there for rapid spin and to stop hazard, or not hazard's priority, which might be useful in this case. A little water weak with some resists, with one of them being your Terra Captain. So little Suicune weak, which we always have to think about. But yeah, outside of rocks, kind of are scary. I think a very solid draft, especially in Littleroot.
Yeah, exactly. I think, compared to last season, I think the drafts this time are surprisingly, significantly better. There's kind of less, kind of less shitmons going around, little less holes in the type chart. Like you got some genuinely threatening mons. Mega Greninja is stellar mon. I got to try that out in a few preseason events. You got Landorus, you got Scizor, you got Sinistra. So these mons are very good offensively. But I think where this lost points across like the categories for me is that I am not moved by Mega Aerodactyl. I am not moved by Blissey. I am not moved by Dust Noir. I do not respect Blissey or Dust Noir. But, here they are. But aside from that, I think, Terra Captains are great. Terra Incineroar, I think, is a really strong utility mon. You got, Terra Serena, which could be good with that 120 attack stat and rapid spin. And so, yeah, this team is not bad at all. This team is pretty solid. Still halfway through. So, if a team like this is at number 8, you gotta think about, like, what's next, right? And so, number 7... Oh, also Incredible gave this a 2. Let's see, why did he give this a 2? All of the mons would be tryhards in real life. See, that kind of gives some insight to the thought behind the Incredibles vibes. And not too serious number that one is. And so, anyways, number 7, we have... Oh, dude, I just felt the aura. I just felt the aura from this team. Why don't you break it down, Clay?
Artman is gonna come in and be like, wait, what? So Artman balled out this season. A draft of Mega Glade, as always, mascot pick. We should have gave it culture points, but Mega Glade also is a really good mon. Outside of it being the mascot pick, Moltres for bulk, Tapu Fini replacing Primarina, got the towers, got Fable. I mean, like, this is a very scary team to look at on paper. It doesn't have that many issues defensively. It can take hits. I mean, Moltres, very good with that. Archaludon, very good with that. Finny's good with that. Clefable's really good at that. It can set hazards all day. It can get rid of hazards all day. It can disrupt things all day. Like, the one thing holding it back is you got Regieleki, and like nothing's outspeeding Regieleki in most instances. Then it jumps all the way down to Mega Glade. And there's a lot of mons in between there that could be problematic. And there's some clumping between like 92 and 85, and then double 70s. And so there's a little bit of speed issues. And this team isn't liking defensive things that can set up very well. Like, if you can't one-shot something that's setting up and the Clefable's gone, that's going to be a really bad problem with this team. But for an Artman draft, like, I would have not... Like, this is an Artman draft based on the mons, but, like, such a good team. Like, I mean, we see it's the first 80 on my side, at least.
Oh, yeah. And so my thoughts on this team I see the Mega Gallade. I see the mascot pick. You probably should have earned a culture point for that. That kind of skipped over my head. Miami Knights and Mega Gallade. I kind of see now that I see it right in front of me. I kind of feel a little stupid. But anyways, Mega Gallade is your fastest, not counting Regieleki, but the second fastest mon on your team. Okay, and I feel like having Mega Gallade as one of your top 2 fastest mons, and not having something threatening faster than Mega Gallade, it kind of opens you up to being outsped by Scarfers. And Mega Gallade can't really do anything about that because, well, it's holding a Mega Stone. It cannot have an item at all. But, again, Mega Gallade is an excellent offensive mon. Your Terra Captains are amazing. You have Terra Hoopa, which probably one of the best Terra Captains for its price on the board. You have Terra Breloom. Kind of moves me a little less Terra Breloom, but I do see that 130 attack stat, and it has excellent priority. And again, your defensive mons are amazing as well. Moltres plus Tapu Fini. Little anti-synergy there. You can't get the burns from Moltres, but regardless, Moltres, Tapu Fini, and Clefable. You got Fortress there. Your defensive core is quite excellent for a bulky offensive team. It's just, our Chaladon, Mega Gallade, Regieleki, Crocodile. I feel like there's something missing there from the offense for me personally. It's a little slow. You can't really win condition too much outside of Tapu Fini setting up. You might have a little trouble breaking down those bulkier threats like Clay said, but aside from that, this is probably the greatest placement increase I've seen since you were dead last season, and probably the season before that. You have jumped up to number 7, which is, if I can count correctly, that's 9 places higher than you were before, which is very, very good. I don't know what clicked in your head, but I do like the way this Artminchon is drafting, and Incredible has given it a 7 out of 10. He says, "What happened to the Artminchon I love? He is no more. Only Goatmanchon is here now." And so, congratulations on the number 7 placement. I think that's a shocker for a lot of people here. And so, yeah, excellent job. And so, number 6, we have Ember's Draft House. This is a team by Kata. Great logo there, which also represents their draft league. And so, I really like this team. This team, offensively, is probably this is a gold standard offensive draft. You have Megalopunny, which newly got bugged this season with what's it called, Swords Dance. You got Mach Punch now. There's a lot of extra tools for Megalopunny. You got Cinderace. Oh, Cinderace is just an excellent offensive pivot of a mon. You have Flandra Styrian, which of course the roll compression goat. You have Terra Celebi, one of the best Terra captains on this board. Once again, you do have Raikou, you have Overquill, you have Goldango, which kind of ties together with Landorus. And of course, can't forget Misdreavus and Seismitoad. Now, these Pokemon together form something excellent. That's why we've given you a 23 on offense, which is very, very good. And your team is also very, very fast with good even distribution from 135 to 74. The speed gaps are not bad at all. And of course, your priority is excellent. Megalopunny newly got, Mach Punch. Cinderace has Sucker Punch. And this team is excellent all around. You do have a concerning ground weakness, as with other teams. You gotta watch out for those dragon types. As I can see, your only resistance is Goldango, unless you decide to Terra Fairy your Celebi. But aside from that, this is a solid team. You have great hazards, great type balance, great offense, great speed, and your defensive core of Overquill, Goldango, Seismitoad, even Raikou, I think it's pretty solid. And so yeah, you scored very high, Kata. 78 total.
I think in terms of draft, the only 2 things I would worry about is this is very Dragon Week because there's no fairies, so that means your Terra Fairy Celebi a lot, which Celebi is totally okay with that. However, Draco spam could be a problem. and hazard removal's not great. You got Court Change with Cinderace, which is awesome, and you got Defog Lando T. But other than that, I could see hazards potentially being an issue. And again, the ground weakness is kind of stinky. One of your immunities is Mischievous, which sometimes is not a Mon, sometimes is. And then Lando T. But Lando T also, like, gets poked by Glaceon, so you have to watch out for that. But in terms of, like, Kata drafts, this is fantastic. And in terms of Littleroot drafts, like, I don't see any glaring flaw that makes me go, okay, this is how this team gets beat every week. Because, like, the dragon problem, the ground problem, like, you can fix almost all of that thanks to having an amazing Terra Captain in Celebi.
Yeah, that is very true, Clay. And so we talked about, this is a solid team. The flaws are there, but they're not glaring at all. I'd say this is a solid draft, which means that the drafts after this are gonna start bordering on insanity, total insanity from this point onwards. Starting with number 5. Oh, you got a 4 by Incredible as well. He hates Mischievous. That is kind of the short of it. So number 5, we got Jirachi Starfall.
All right, so Rainy, like, talk about, like, balanced good teams. You got a Nuke Cannon and Mega Floette Eternal. You got Palafin Hero, which is, like, the physical side of a Nuke Cannon, outside of Rotom Wash, but that's fine. You got Great Priority and Hitmontop. You got Iggy Slash that can murder people if they don't know how to work it. And talk about culture, you got Trapinch. And as we learned week 1, Trapinch means business.
Oh, Trapinch, man. Trapinch was so tough. So tough.
But yeah, I thought, like, we had, like, I think, like, 3 or 4 teams back, I said, like, this is a good balanced team. This is the next step up of a good balanced team that doesn't really have any issues. Like, okay, you're weak to Ghost. You got 3 Terra Captains. One of those, I think, is a really good underrated Terra Captain in Meowstick, because it's a free Terra Captain for 1 point. You got Hitmontop, which is a fantastic Terra Captain to have. I would know, I attempted to draft it last season. And this team, in my opinion, is really, really good.
Yes, this team is excellent. Like you said, you have a Ghost weakness. Not really. No one's gonna exploit that. Surely you have a Samurai Hisui. But I think what I want to kind of emphasize with this draft is, although if you look at the speed tiers, you are slow, undeniably slow. You have your Mega Floette is at 100 pretty much. Palafin is also at 100, which is okay. And you have, your Pokemon are slower aside from that. But what really kind of made this stand out is that every single one of your Pokemon, except for maybe Rotom Heat and, like Nidoqueen, all of them have premier priority options. You have Palafin Hero Jet Punch, you have Samurott Hisui, Aqua Jet and Sucker Punch, Rillaboom Grassy Glide, which is probably the best priority move in the entire format. You have Hitmontop with Technician Mach Punch, you have Aegislash with Shadow Sneak. So even though your Pokemon are, on average, probably quite slower than the rest of these drafts, there is definitely ways to make it up. And also, can't forget the Meowstick with Prankster, like in the example slide, you can spread some Thunder Waves around to maybe slow down the other team, make up for that speed gap between you and them. And yes, all of these mons are offensively demonic. You have, like I said, Palafin, Mega Floette Eternal, which probably might get, like there's a lot of debate around Mega Floette's place in AFG right now. You have, Samurai Hisui with Sharpness. You have Rillaboom, excellent physical wall breaker. You have Aegislash, which just got Poltergeist and is now an actual menace with Poltergeist. That mon is really, really good. and is an excellent mixed attacker. So you have all of these offensive threats. That is why you have a 23 on offense, as well as, let's see, your defensive side is not as strong. You do have Rotom Heat and Nidoqueen, one of the best, utility mons together. And you do have a Trapinch. I'm not sure why I mentioned Trapinch, but anyways, your defense is serviceable and solid. And so you scored very, very high in my books. And yeah, okay, I think we're going to move on to the next. Incredibles Vibe, 11 out of 10 for Trapinch, Meowstic, and he mentioned the Dunsparce. It's not on my slide, but it's probably there. Maybe you picked it up. Anyways, next, number 4.
Dunsparce was picked up.
Yeah, Dunsparce was picked up. That's a cool Pokemon. Why not? So number 4, just barely making it out of the top 3, we have the Indiana Ice Cubes. And so I'll talk about the Indiana Ice Cubes because I'm a huge fan of the Indiana Ice Cubes season after season. I'm loving the new logo, and we have your type chart is pretty good, although everyone is neutral to flying, which is more common than you think. But I cannot ignore what is going on with. Okay, you have an Iron Valiant, you have Mega Delphox, crazy. You have Kieran Black. I don't know how that made it back to you. So those 3 mons offensively are extremely scary. Very, very scary. I cannot stress enough. And so those 3 alone are probably going to clean up games for you just off that alone. But aside from that, you have good defensive pieces in Ferrothorn, one of the best physical walls, or just walls in general in the format. You have Tentacruel, which is a very, very good special defense wall with Rapid Spin, and you can spread stats around. And aside from that, this team is just good. This team is good. Your hazards are excellent. Your support disruption's okay, but you really want to capitalize off those top 3 mons that are very, very threatening. And yeah, your pivoting is okay, but your Terra Captains are unique and actually pretty good. Terra Golurk, Terra Vikable, Terra Cinccino might, add some spice to the games that will give you an edge over your opponents.
Yeah, I really like the Terra Cinccino pick. That was kind of the culture point I gave Vero here. The flying issue is an interesting issue, to say the least. Staraptor loves this team, but Staraptor then would immediately get cooked by Kieran Black. There's a little bit of hazard removal issues. You got Tentacruel. Tentacruel's kind of stuck come into a lot of games, especially before Mega Delphox Megas. But you also have Iron Valiant, and so most people are going to be worried about trying to figure out Iron Valiant first before Mega Delphox. And so, yeah, it doesn't surprise me, knowing how good Vero drafts, that this team is very, very good. I would like to see something for the flying, but he also has 3 Terra Captains that I'm sure that he has plans for.
Yes, this team is very, very good. Incredible. Give it a 4 out of 10. He says only 1 Valiant allowed in this league. You don't even have a Dragapult, but you have Cinccino. So I guess that's that. Yes, your Pokemon are extremely threatening, and so when you think about the top 3, this team is very good. What's the top 3 like? Well, number 3 we have the Vancouver Grizzlies. Oof, what a team! And so to start off, you have Mega Alakazam, which is again debatably the strongest Pokemon we have on the board. With you have 175 special attack, 150 speed, and on top of that, you have probably one of the best offensive pivots in the game with Tornadus Styrian. You have the best utility offensive Pokemon in the game with Garchomp, and you probably have the best Terra Captain in the board in Slitherwing. In addition to that, you do have Indeedee, which racked up a shit ton of kills in Sky Pillar, and so I do want to see some capitalization on that. You have Tinkaton, you have Muckalola, which are tried and true roll compression goats. This team is quite solid.
This team screams diamond all over. It's a bunch of mons that, oh yeah, that's a really good Mon that needs to be on a team, and they all fit together because that's how Diamond drafts. Round 3 Garchomp is really crazy because every time that I have attempted to draft Garchomp round 2, it's never there, but the one time I don't, it goes all the way to round 3. Indeedee with Mega Alakazam is going to be nuts. My only like nitpicks with it, and they're like small nitpicks, your Sylveon weak, because your Sylveon resist is technically AV, Muckalola, and Tinkatongue, but like, come on, those are still both really good, and Muckalola handles Fairy really well, even for it hitting neutral. Ground, and there's a lot of teams neutral to ground, but Torn's coming to so many matches that ground is not going to necessarily be a problem, and Lantern's one of your ground issues, which is not coming to many matches because you have Blastoise. And so this team, I think in most seasons, is probably number 1. However, not this season.
Oh yes. Yeah, this could have been this could have been number 1 in a lot of other seasons, like Clay said. And yeah, like I want to talk about your team again. Like your little ground week, not too bad. If Tornadus goes down, that's a little scary. You know, Ice types can be a little bit for your offensive core, but again, you have a Blastoise, you have Terra Slitherwing to deal with those. I'm not really moved by the Lantern. I'm not sure what Bro is doing here, but I'm sure he's having fun hanging with the rest of his pals. And yeah, this team is genuinely insane.
Wizened answer.
The Wizened answer.
The Wizened answer is what it looks like.
As someone who told him to draft the Lantern, it's water immunity, electric immunity, steel resist, and flying resist. And also the best 4-pointer left on the board to round out the team.
Yeah, a Wizened answer. Because all of those are Wizened issues.
I see. Yeah, that makes some sense for the niche matchup. Yeah, like your support's a little weak, I guess, but everything else is extremely good. Maybe your resistances are thin, but who really cares? Because this is an offense team through and through. Incredible has given it a 1, saying, "Try hard, villain. Welcome to the Villain League." +1 for Lantern. So yeah, you probably would have gotten a 0 just off the ranted vibes of this team, but I guess he was gracious enough to give +1 point for Lantern. And so number 2, this is a number 1 contender. So number 2 is gonna go to definitely not the Cleffa Clashers.
Man, where'd Sheep go? That's not the Cleffa Clashers. This team though, and I know that Sheep like overhauled it once free agency started. This is Mons that can come to every game, and like Coco, by the way, Coco went undrafted, and she picked Coco up, and Coco fits the team. Like Shreds, Iron Leaves, having a Mega Chestnut. This is the polar opposite of the St. Louis Carvana's team, because this team outside of Mega Chestnut is all base 100 or higher in terms of speed, which is fantastic outside of people who like to run Trick Room. There's some defensive issues, but like those defensive, you're not going to get hit if you just outspeed your opponent and beat them to a pulp with the team you got. And this team does so much so well. I'm not thrilled having to face it in about 3 weeks.
I would personally piss myself if I had to play against this team. Actually, if I'm gonna be a little honest, it kind of looks like my team. If there was only 2 other people drafting from the board with me, and so if I gotta like pick and choose the mons and no one else was contesting me, my Tapu Koko Greninja team would probably look something like this. But I guess if I had to nitpick a little bit, all of your Pokemon kind of crowd around the 100 speed tier. But honestly, who cares? Because you are just going to try to run them down with Tapu Koko Greninja and Volcarona, and I guess slacking. And so yeah, this team is offensively pretty crazy. your defensive core of, I'd say, Tread, Mega Chestnut, exciting pickup there, and Latios are very, very well compressed, form a very good defensive core together. And yeah, your type chart does seem a little spotty on paper, but it's because you have a fucking Iron Leaves as your Terra in electric terrain. How exciting could that be? And of course, you have a Slacking there at the bottom. I know how much you love Slacking. We gave you the culture point off that, hoping to see some good things come out of that monkey right there. And yeah, your support's excellent, your disruption's excellent, your hazards are okay on behalf of Treads and Chestnut. And yeah, this team is ridiculous. It is plain ridiculous how this happened.
Yeah, this is again similar. We talked about Diamond having like a number one team in most seasons. This would be a number one team in most seasons, but not this season.
Yeah, not this season. And you know, this, I wish, you know, the real clever clashers, Sheep, I wish he was here to see this, you know, someone taking up the mantle, carrying it forward to number 2, because this can't be Sheep's draft. This is not the Cleffa Clashers. I mean, there's no Cleffa. How could Sheep draft this? There's no Cleffa. So whoever's behind this, congratulations on number 2, but number 1, you've all been waiting for it. Who is number 1? Well, it is the Giratinas of Ambiguous Tangibility. Very long name, very high total you got there. Let me talk about this team, because this team is fucking insane. This team is ridiculous. I'm looking at it. I can't believe this happened, but it did. So let's start from the top. You have Dragapult, probably the best Pokemon in draft by far. Following Dragapult, you do have Mega Scizor, which is one of the best physically offensive, win con, utility, defensive, whatever you want it to be. It's one of the best. You have Chi-Yu, unparalleled special wall breaking power, as you may know. You have Primarina, one of the best, again, offensive, but also defensive wall breakers, defensive pivots. It is one of the best at what it does. Extremely good Pokemon. And your Terra Captain is Rhyperior. Terra Rhyperior is, aside from Slitherwing, probably the other best Terra Captain available on the board. And here it is, right next to Dragapult, Mega Scizor, and Primarina. It is what it is. And so, in addition to that, your utility in Prankster Thundurus, you have Chestnut there in case you need a wall. You have Starmie for offensive pivot and rapid spin. And you do have Spidops just to fulfill toxic spikes and sticky webs for when you need you to run things down. And so all of these things combined on one team, demon after demon after demon, number 1 easily in my heart. And it's just ridiculous. This team is probably one of the best teams you could possibly draft on the board if no one else was drafting with you. And yeah, that's pretty much what there is to say about it. I'm just laying on the honey, laying on the glaze. Team is fucking crazy.
Yeah, for knowing, because being the mod, like, Nothing, who's the coach, got skipped 4 times and still got this team.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Like, this is a 9 Mons can come at any point. Terra Rhyperior is insane. There's worlds where Terra Rhyperior can be Terra banned in some leagues. I did get informed that Chi-Yu is water type, according to Zeddy Dog, though. Keep that in mind.
Is that right?
Yeah. But if I had any nitpicks for this, it's getting rid of hazards kind of stinks, but who cares, right? You're gonna beat the crap out of whoever is attempting to set hazards before they can even set the hazards.
Yeah, the weakest, I say, outside of Spidops, we're not gonna count Spidops, but he's there.
Spidops is for utility.
Yeah, Spidops is for utility. Probably the weakest points on this team, if any, is Starmie. Starmie does his job okay, at most. It is a real Pokemon for sure. It rapid spins, it's fast, very good at cleaning. If that's the most questionable part of your draft, there is there is some other concerns. And yeah, this team is just, I mean, Chestnut, Primarina, Terra Rhyperior, Mega Scizor, crazy defensive core you got there, and at the same time they are able to output immense amounts of damage and set up and win games, and just lay utility, lay hazards on the other side. It's a massacre. Incredible has given it an 8 out of 10, saying, "You have a Dragapult, but no Iron Valiant. Ball right. Looks fun to play. Good game." Very well said. And so yeah, that's the power rankings. And so I think the next slide here is gonna have them all laid out. Oh yes, there we go. 1 to 16. Congratulations to everybody. I'd say the drafts this time were pretty good overall compared to last season, at least.
It's almost like there was 15 teams drafting and one team drafting something else.
Some may say that, but it was worth it for the culture.
Yes.
And so yeah, don't worry, this VOD is going to be on Neji Boston's channel as you're watching right now. And so last thing before we go, we have some fun awards. For example, best offense. Our number one team naturally has the best offense. That was not the case in previous seasons. Before, this award would go to Sus season after season, but someone new's got to have it.
Yeah. Best defense when you have a gazillion immunities, and that makes sense for St. Louis Caravanas to have best defense, because I hope you like planning around immunities. We don't gotta talk about that, but that guy's ugly.
True, and the most culture, none other than my fellow moderator in this division, Sylveon KC. He has drafted every single evolution, and you can't even beat that in terms of culture. Like, what are you gonna do? Highest overall BSD, which this is an interesting award because it doesn't really mean anything in terms of how good your team is, but it's just something fun to think about. And so highest overall was not Cleffa Clashers, who had legendary, sub-legendaries. Slacking probably brought it up to BSD a lot on average. And the lowest overall BSD, Jirachi Starfall with 510. It's probably because of Trap Pinch.
Yeah, it's mainly because of Trap Pinch.
Probably because of Trap Pinch. I think without Trap Pinch, it was like 534 or something like that.
Yeah.
And our favorite teams. We got my favorite team, the Indiana Ice Cubes. That team looks really fun. In my heart, if I'm gonna be honest, if I were to pick one team to play and just take their place and their team within Littleroot, I would have taken the Giratina's team, but that's because obviously that team is overpowered and broken. Outside of that, my favorite team for sure is Indiana Ice Cubes. It just looks like a fun team to play, and it aligns with how I play, and yeah, that's why it's my favorite.
Yeah, and similarly, like if I wasn't drafting evolutions, and let's put Sylveon on Artman's team, I think Artman did such a good job. Like, looking at the team, I think Artman did a fantastic job, and I think the Miami Knights is definitely like my favorite team, not in just regards to like, oh, this looks really good, but also like I would want to play this team. And there's obviously teams that were a little bit higher, but I would rather be playing what Artman is laying down. Thank you, Goatman Sean.
Shout out to Goatman Sean. And so yeah, that pretty much wraps up the awards. You can see, those are team logos there. That's the league logo. And yeah, schedule matches early. Don't FF your matches. Play on time. Ping us if necessary, Lunar and Clay on Discord if you need anything. And yeah, I just thank you for watching this whole presentation. All the divisions. How long was the stream? That was like 3-4 hours of streaming almost. So yeah, thank you for watching. Anything to say, Clay?
I'll let Clay send
all good.
First.
Again, the rankings are just our opinions. They don't mean It doesn't mean that if you're on the lower side of it, you're a bad drafter. I mean, maybe if you're 16. And I will note from last season, the power rankings the top 6 made the playoffs, and then it was like 10 and 12. And so it doesn't mean you can't make the playoffs. If you have any issues, if you need help building, there's so many people in the community that can help you build. Some people even help you build against themselves if you ask nicely.
Who was that?
That was Jackson.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, one person that helps a lot of people, Nice versus Nami. Every season, week after week, they accept people asking for advice, and he happily gives it out and more. Of course, there's other people you can ask for advice as well, such as me or pretty much anyone in this community, I'd say. But Nice versus Nami, excellent fellow, gives plenty of advice, in detail. Just to put that out there. But yeah, definitely good vibes. Only from the rankings, not really anything serious. And yeah, best of wishes. Thank you, and pass it to Neji Boston.
Thank you, guys. That was great. I will say we will have the Marine and Evergrande power rankings tomorrow around 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if you have not got your power ranks for your division, they will be happening tomorrow. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nami. Incredible, even though he couldn't be here because he's sick. Hope you feel better. Zodiac, Lunar, Clay. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, looking forward to the power rankings tomorrow. And hope everybody has a good week of matches.